Chapter 201. Oh, forget it then. Go and tidy up that table. You can go. Didn't you say that there were classmates looking for you to play in the afternoon? Hurry up and go home and change your clothes. There's a lot of smoke here. Go. At this moment, the boss looked at the time and said to his daughter, Yao, Aya, it's okay. They don't mind. They even said that they would come and help us when they have time. When the woman heard her father's words, her eyes became moist. However, it was not because of her father's words, but because she felt sorry for her father. Since he was young, it was her father who set up a stall to earn money to support him in school. Every time she thought of this, Yao would feel sad. Therefore, whenever she had time, she would come here to help her father. I know. I know you came here because you don't want me to be too busy. Look, isn't there a waiter here? Hurry up and go. Don't make them wait. As he spoke, the shop owner wiped his hands and began to push the woman out. All right, father, I got it. I'll go and tidy up the table just now. I'll have it, okay? Seeing that her father was so persistent, Yao had no choice but to follow her father's instructions and tidy up Lin Rei's table before walking home. Seeing that his daughter's back had completely disappeared from his sight, the shop owner revealed a smile on his face and turned around to continue working. Meanwhile, in a villa in Tianwanyuan, Jean Ling was pacing back and forth at the door with an anxious expression on her face. Sister-in-law, don't walk around. Big brother said that he's fine. You've been walking around here for an hour. If you don't feel dizzy, I'll feel dizzy. At this moment, Lin Feng, who was sitting at the door, saw his sister-in-law, Jean Ling's appearance and said with a helpless expression. That's right, sister-in-law. Didn't you already get a reply just now? He said that Big Brother has already come out of the police station. Since that's the case, it means that Big Brother is fine. Maybe Big Brother met his former brothers or classmates and was delayed. At this moment, Lin Feng and Lin Ro refused to listen to Jean Ling. Although they knew that it was useless, they still had to say it. Aya, you guys be careful. Or go out to coach a car or play with your classmates. Anyway, I have nothing to do. It's good to wait for your brother here. In the past, I used to wait for your brother like this. Sometimes, I would wait for an entire day. After saying that, Jean Ling sent the two of them out. As for him, he continued to wait for Lin Li. Of course, when Lin Feng and Lin Ro went out, they were followed by several members of the dark group. Of course, the members of the dark group were hiding in the dark. Unless the two were in danger, they would not appear. Jean Ling had been waiting for Lin Rei. At this time, after Lin Rei came out of the restaurant, he went to a bar not far away called Dream. This was Lin Rei's first time here. In the past, he had thought about it, but because of the lack of money, he never came. As soon as he entered the Dream bar, he heard heavy metal music. The sound was very deafening. Slowly, Lin Rei walked in. At a glance, all of them were in pairs or in groups, except for herself who had just walked in. Listening to the heavy metal music, he came to the bar counter. Without hesitation, he took out a stack of cash and placed it on the bar counter. He said to the waiter, "Bring all of your high alcohol content wine here immediately. This is the money. If it's not enough, we'll talk about it." "Okay, sir. Please wait a moment. I'll get it for you now. I just don't know what wine you want to drink. Red wine, white wine, or..." At this time, the waiter saw Lin Rei's appearance and despised him. However, when he saw the front and back of the table, the waiter smiled and came forward to ask. "No matter what wine it is, as long as it has a high alcohol content, no matter if it's red wine or white wine, bring it to me." "Okay, please wait a moment." With that, the waiter walked inside. After a while, more than 10 bottles of red wine, white wine, and even white wine were brought to Lin Rei. "Sir, this is the wine with the highest alcohol content in this shop. However, are you sure you want to drink them? Or do you have other people with you? At this time, the waiter showed a look of hesitation. Although Lin Rei had nothing to do with him, he couldn't watch him get into trouble in his own shop. Don't worry. This wine is not enough to make me drunk. Find me a place, but don't let anyone disturb me. Hearing Linley's words, the waiter nodded in agreement. However, after hearing Linley's words, the waiter felt even more disdain in his heart. What do you mean you can't get drunk? Even AF** King Cow can get drunk. You should at least have some tolerance for acting tough. Although the waiter thought so, he still had a smile on his face. He took a few bottles of wine and came to a place that could seat more than 10 people. He put the wine on the table and left. Before leaving, he specially said to Lin Rei, "Sir, if you feel uncomfortable, call me at any time." "Okay, I know. You can go now. Here, this is for your consumption." When he came to the seat, Lin Rei sat down. But when he heard the waiter's words, Lin Rei smiled and then took out a few Red Bull from his pocket and gave it to the waiter, asking him to leave. "Oh, look at the strong wine here. The wine in Tianxian is still better." After saying that, Lin Rei took advantage of the fact that the others were not resting. He put one hand under the table and then took out a jar of carved wine from his storage ring. As the saying goes, a deep relationship is stifled. Although there was no one next to Lin Rei at this time, he was more vigorous than others. He directly took a bottle of unknown red wine and opened it. Gulp. Gulp. The sound was very loud, but it was close to the heavy metal music, so no one could hear it. Unless someone saw where Lin Rei was, otherwise, no one would know what Lin Rei was doing. However, there was one person who had been watching Lin Rei. That was the waiter. He was afraid that Lin Rei would have a problem, so he kept watching. In the end, he saw this scene. F***ck, is he still a human? Is red wine supposed to be drunk like that? Even if it's not red wine, white wine is not supposed to be drunk like that. At this time, the waiter thought that he had seen wrongly. He rubbed his eyes hard with both hands, and finally, he felt the pain. When he saw Lin Rei again, this time, Lin Rei was not holding a bottle of red wine, but whiskey. This was a very high alcohol content wine. Ordinary people could only drink it bit by bit, but not like Lin Rei who drank it directly like drinking plain water. This brother is unique in the world. If anyone can drink more than him, I will kneel on the ground and call him father. After seeing Lin Rei's appearance again, the waiter knew that his worries were superfluous. At this time, Lin Rei was not alone in his seat. Just when Lin Rei finished drinking the red wine, the system's little dragon came out and had been watching Lin Rei drink. After knowing that the wine bottle was put down, the little dragon asked puzzledly, "Lin Rei, do you think you can get drunk like this? You are a cultivator in the middle stage of the crossing calamity realm. You have to know that with your cultivation, unless you seal your own cultivation, you can't get drunk like this." "Oh." Lin Rei heard the little dragon's words, and his heart moved slightly. For a moment, he had this idea. "You mean, as long as I have my own wind cultivation, I can get drunk? But in that case, what if I encounter danger? Damn, with your body, let alone a golden core or nascent soul realm cultivator, even a combination realm cultivator can't break through your defense. Do you think that in this space, you can meet such a high-level cultivator for no reason? And do you think they will beat a drunk person like you who has no cultivation for no reason?" "Yes." Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei's desire to seal his drunkenness became even stronger. "However, I'm telling you, you're only allowed to get drunk once. There's no next time. You have more important things to do. Your mother hasn't been found yet, and your cultivation hasn't reached a certain level yet. Therefore, this is the first and last time, understand?" At this time, the little dragon's expression was serious, and he said to Lin Rei meticulously, with a commanding look in his eyes. I know, don't worry. I won't do it again in the future. Just this once, just this once. In the past few years, other than the few years on the island where I lived a happy and relaxed life, the rest of the time, I was in a tense state overseas. I lived every day for survival, afraid that I would die without a burial place if I wasn't careful. The past few years have been too tiring. After getting drunk this time, I believe that there won't be a next time. In the future, I will enter a tense state again. In this space, it is far from as simple as I thought. Although the surface is very calm, I can feel that there are many undercurrents surging. With that, Lin Ray directly pressed a seal into his dantian. In an instant, Lin Ray felt that his spiritual power was completely cut off at this moment. Unless the seal was broken again, he would never be able to sense the existence of spiritual power. Of course, without the condition of a strong physical body, he would say that 6 ordinary people were no different. Well, I've told you the method. Take it easy. Also, remember what you said. After today, you have to cultivate well. Moreover, you don't have much time in this space. Finish the things you want to finish as soon as possible. You are very thin and restrained here, so hurry up. After speaking, the little dragon disappeared in front of Lin Ray and returned to the system. If that's the case, then let's get completely drunk. Let me feel what it's like to be drunk as a cultivator. With that, he tried his best to pick up a bottle of red wine and drank it. However, the taste and feeling at this time were completely different from when he had cultivation. It seems that it is really effective. At least, I can feel that the alcohol is no longer diluted by spiritual power. Chapter 202. After 3 rounds of drinking, Lin Ray's consciousness began to blur, but he was not drunk yet. The wine on the table had been finished by Lin Ray, leaving only a pile of empty bottles lying on the table. Of course, this included the carved flower wine that Lin Ray took out from his storage ring. Time also passed as Lin Ray drank. Quietly, in the blink of an eye, he realized that it was afternoon. The sky outside gradually darkened, and the originally sunny day suddenly became a little bit cooler. Gradually, the street lights lit up, and the bustling city life began from now on. At this time, at the door of Dream Bar, a group of girls in their late teens pushed open the door and walked in. With a smile on their faces, they were talking and laughing, and a few of them even began to play with each other. If Lin Ray saw them, he would definitely recognize them. Among them, there was the girl who refused to sell him wine. At this time, her eyes were filled with worry, looking left and right. At a glance, he knew that this must be her first time here. A group of girls, 4 or 5 people, came to the bar counter, sat down, and said to the waiter who was mixing the wine, "Waiter, give me 5 glasses of ice and fire." "Xiao, didn't we agree to come here just to have a look? We didn't say that we would drink. My dad won't let me drink." At this time, Yao, who was now in the crowd, saw her good friend and ordered the wine. For a moment, she panicked. Yao, what's wrong with drinking a glass? Besides, if you don't drink now, you must drink in the future. In the future, when you enter the company, you will inevitably have to drink for the boss. So, what you do now is just to prepare for the future. The girl named Xiao, seeing her good friend's appearance, for a moment, her face was full of smiles and said, Okay. But you can only drink 1 glass, no more." In the end, Yao, compromised. She looked at her friends. They had all grown up together. Although 1 or 2 of them were rich, they had never looked down on her. So, for the sake of her good friends, Yao, compromised. Is that right? Seeing Yao, agree, Xiao secretly heaved a sigh of relief, as if she was afraid that Yao, wouldn't drink. As for the waiter, he followed the orders of the customers and served 5 cups of ice and fire. The wine in the cup was very beautiful. One side was blue, and the other side was red. It really looked like the concept of ice and fire. Beauties, this is your ice and fire. However, this is too intense. Therefore, when you drink, you should eat something. Otherwise, it's very easy to get drunk. When the waiter at the bar saw that it was a few beauties, he immediately smiled and warned them. "Oh, we got it. Thank you." Hearing the waiter's words, the girls smiled. Then, they carried their drinks to a place that could seat 5 people and looked around. "Waiter, bring me some more wine. I'm almost done." Suddenly, after they sat down, a very loud voice sounded. Even the heavy metal music couldn't cover the speaker's voice. F***, it can't be. More than 10 bottles, and they were all the strongest wine. At this moment, the waiter was dumbfounded. When the girls sitting on the sofa heard the voice, they all turned in unison to look in the direction of the person who spoke. "It can't be. You can even see him here?" At this moment, Yao was stunned when she saw that the person who spoke was the customer who was chased away under the blanket. Why, Yao, do you know him?" After hearing her good friend's words, Xiao Xiao, who was next to her, had a strange expression on her face and asked doubtfully. "Well, he's not a person. It's just that at noon, he was drinking at my house. However, you might not know this, but he can drink a lot. After drinking 5 boxes of beer at noon, he still wanted to drink more, but in the end, he was chased away. However, it seems that he has been here for a long time." After hearing the story, everyone's eyes were filled with shock. Because after hearing Yao's words and seeing the bottles on the table, they knew that he could drink quite a lot. "Waiter, hurry up and bring me the wine." "Why, are you afraid that I won't pay?" At this moment, the waiter, who was in a daze, heard Lin Rei's words again and immediately came back to his senses. He quickly replied, "Hey, okay, it'll be here right away." The sober waiter didn't stop at all. He directly took out more than 10 bottles of wine from the wine cabinet at the back and walked over to Lin Rei with a smile. "Brother, this is your wine, but I still have to advise you to drink less wine." Okay, I got it. Why don't you sit down and have a few drinks? It's my treat." At this moment, his eyes were fixed on the table and the newly brought wine. After hearing the waiter's words, Lin Rei invited him to sit down and have a drink with him, but he was rejected. Forget it. Your alcohol tolerance isn't something that I can compare to. Just 2 glasses and I'll pass out. If there's nothing else, I'll go back to work." After saying that, the waiter hurriedly said goodbye to Lin Rei and fled. Yes, fled. The moment he heard Lin Rei's words, he had the intention to leave immediately. After seeing the waiter leave, Lin Rei directly picked up the wine on the table and drank again. "Damn, this person is really awesome. I gave you this in the past. At that time, I only took a sip and directly fainted. This person can actually drink directly from the bottle. I'm impressed." At this moment, the girl named Xiao Xiao, who had been paying attention to Linley, said with a face full of admiration after seeing Linley's appearance. "Let's go and have a look. I think this person is quite interesting." After saying that, while everyone was still in a daze, the girl had already arrived in front of Lin Rei. "Handsome, do you mind if I sit down and have a drink with you?" At this moment, the girl was full of charm as she spoke to Lin Rei. Her voice was very coquettish, so coquettish that once you heard her voice, you would have a reaction that a man should have. You are?" Lin Rei, who was originally drinking enthusiastically, removed the wine bottle from his mouth when he heard the voice. His eyes were filled with doubt as he asked the girl. "Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ouyang Xiao Xiao, and these are my classmates." After hearing Lin Rei's question, the girl directly said her name and pointed to the 4 girls in the distance who were looking at them. "Oh, okay. Then you guys go ahead." After saying that, Lin Rei didn't look at her again. Instead, he directly picked up the wine bottle and drank. However, this time, Lin Rei didn't drink as fiercely as before. The 4 girls in the distance came to Lin Rei's seat under Ouyang Xiaoxiao's beckoning. "Handsome, how should I address you?" When everyone was present, Ouyang Xiaoxiao smiled and asked Lin Rei. On the other hand, Yao Er, who was at a place where no one could see, stretched out her hand and tugged at Ouyang Xiaoxiao's clothes. She couldn't help but cast a glance at Ouyang Xiaoxiao, hinting that she shouldn't casually ask for people's names. Lin Rei, if you want to drink, open the bottle yourselves. I have no interest in you, and don't try to understand me, because that will make you die miserably. Seeing the way they were acting, Lin Li didn't say a single nice word. He immediately wiped out any thoughts they had. Hearing this sentence, all the girls were stunned. Without saying a word, they directly took a bottle of wine, opened their mouths, and drank some. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei didn't say anything. He just drank by himself. Time passed little by little. In the end, Lin Rei drank until he was unconscious. A soft groan came from a bed in a hotel room. At this time, a man woke up with a splitting headache. He rubbed his head that was about to split open. What's going on? Wasn't I drinking? Where am I? At this time, the man's mind was full of questions. He opened his eyes and looked around. In the end, he found that he was in a hotel room. This man was Lin Rei, who was drinking in the bar earlier. At this time, Lin Rei didn't know what happened, but he inexplicably came to a hotel room. Why do I feel like there's someone on the bed? At this time, Lin Rei didn't understand. Finally, when he wanted to get up, he suddenly felt a breathing sound from the other side of the bed. Suddenly, Lin Rei's mind flashed with a bad feeling. Slowly, with one hand, Lin Li pulled the blanket aside. A completely naked girl was lying there. Perhaps because she was tired, after Lin Li's actions, she didn't wake up. Instead, she unconsciously stretched out her hand and tugged at the blanket a little. F***ck, what the F***ck, what the F***ck is going on? How could this be? At this time, Lin Rei's mind was blank. He didn't know what was going on, but Lin Rei was sure that something must have happened last night. Suddenly, Lin Rei saw that there was a red thing as big as a coin where he was sitting. Seeing this scene again, Lin Rei panicked even more. No way. What the F***ck? Is this F***king playing with me? At this moment, Lin Rei's mind was filled with 10,000 F***king curses. He was very irritated. This had happened too suddenly, and Lin Li wasn't mentally prepared at all to accept this. Suddenly, the sound of the sleeping woman on the bed made Lin Rei's whole body tremble. Then, he subconsciously moved back. Dad, is dinner ready? I'm hungry. Suddenly, the woman lying on the bed threw her father's blanket to one side and called out. Mom, Seeing that there was no response, the girl wanted to wake up again. But when she opened her eyes, she saw something that she had never thought of in her life. It was something that she would never forget in her life. Chapter 203. You. Why are you here? At this moment, the girl really wanted to find a place to hide and not see anyone. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. We both drank too much. Lin Rei's heart was filled with guilt. Every time he thought of the red spot he saw, the guilt in Lin Rei's heart intensified. Woo. At this moment, Yao Er felt pain coming from her lower body. For a moment, her mind went blank. She couldn't do anything now. The only thing she could do was cry. How? How could this happen? How could this be? How could it be? Things shouldn't be like this. At this moment, Yao Er cried and asked herself in her heart. Until now, she still couldn't believe that what happened was real. Looking around the room with blurry eyes, Yao Er felt terrible. She couldn't imagine that one day, something that could only happen on TV would happen to her. Sigh. I'm sorry. Tell me. Whatever compensation you want, I can promise you. No matter if it's money, status, or power, as long as you want it, even if it's to go to the ninth heaven to capture the moon, or to go to the 4 seas to catch turtles, or to become the most powerful person in Yanjing, I can help you achieve it. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was filled with guilt. He told Yao all his requests, but he didn't say that he would be responsible for her. Boo-hoo. No matter what, Lin Li asked for all the things that everyone was interested in, but Yao didn't seem to hear him at all. She just continued to cry. As for Lin Li, he just sat there, using the blanket to cover his lower body. His upper body was bare, and he stared at her with a guilty look in his eyes. Time passed little by little. After an unknown amount of time, Yao finally stopped crying, as if she was tired of crying or had run out of tears. However, her next action startled Lin Rei. Yao who had stopped crying, didn't seem to be facing Lin Rei. She lifted the quilt directly, and her naked body appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes. Her actions were very domineering. She did not look like she was crying a moment ago. Lin Rei, I think it's necessary for you to let the people of the Dark Department follow her. I think this girl has matured because of you. Not only that, I can vaguely see the seeds of world weariness. Such a person is likely to walk on a path of no return in the future. Just as Lin Rei was about to turn around, the little dragon walked out of the central office and spoke to Lin Rei sternly. At this moment, Lin Rei's gaze froze on the spot when he heard the little dragon's words. His gaze landed on the spot where Yao was putting on her clothes. World weariness? It can't be. Could it be that you're mistaken? Lin Rei didn't believe that such a delicate and weak woman would hate the world because of this matter. Humph, you don't have to believe me. My vision can't be wrong. I feel that her heart has completely collapsed, and her current actions are enough to prove everything. Lin Rei found it hard to believe the little dragon's words before they were confirmed. But the little dragon was a know-it-all, so Lin Rei had to be on guard. His consciousness entered the Cloud Pagoda and personally selected a member of the Dark Department. Then, he made the Dark Department member cast an invisibility spell and appear at the entrance of the hotel. He couldn't let the Dark Department member appear in the room and see Yao's naked appearance, right? In an instant, Lin Rei accomplished many things. At this moment, the Dark Department member had already received Lin Rei's order. He handed Yao's portrait to the Dark Department member so that he could recognize it. Then, he followed closely behind and reported everything, no matter if it was a big or small matter. He also ordered the Dark Department member to follow closely and protect her. Anyone who tried to harm her was to be eliminated as soon as possible. Okay, let's pretend this matter never happened. We're all adults, so we have to be responsible for our own actions. This matter ends here. From now on, our families don't owe each other anything. Don't look for me in the future, and I won't look for you either. While Lin Rei was in a daze, Yao's voice entered Lin Rei's ears. Her voice was bone-chilling, completely lacking the gentle feeling from before. Henceforth, Lin Rei believed the little dragon's words. Yao already had the seed of world weariness. This kind of thing had to be eliminated as soon as possible. Wait. I have something to say. At this moment, Lin Rei decided that he had to eliminate the seed of world weariness now. Otherwise, this girl's life would be ruined under the blanket. I know that you hate me now, because of what I did to you last night. However, I also said that as long as you say it, I will definitely do it. So, right now, immediately, tell me that you want to leave. I can agree to any conditions. Yao originally wanted to leave quickly, but when she heard Lin Rei's words, her hatred, which was already on the verge of exploding, completely exploded. Yao's face was incomparably ferocious. The hatred in her eyes was the most terrifying thing that Lin Rei had ever seen since he started cultivating. It wasn't because of her strength, but because of her terrifying hatred. Lin Rei's heart couldn't help but tremble. This kind of feeling was extremely shocking. So what? Did I say it? This girl already has the seed of world weariness. Seeing this scene, the little dragon sat in the air and looked at Lin Rei with a smile on his face. It was as if he was saying, "Am I right? That's what you meant when you questioned my words just now. F***ck, hurry up and get lost. Don't bother me here. What exactly is going on? When we get back, I'll settle the score with you." With that, Lin Rei came back to his senses. He looked at Yao, who was full of hatred, and sighed slightly. Then he said with a hint of guilt, "I know that you hate me. Say it. What do you want? As long as you say it, I will go back and do it. Just like I said before, whether it is the stars in the sky or the suffocation in the deep sea, as long as you say it, as long as you can reduce your hatred for me, I will do it." "Heh, do it? How do you want to do it? Do you know that I have been sullied by you for no reason at all? What do you want me to do? How do you want me to continue living?" As soon as Lin Rei finished speaking, a bone-piercing coldness came out of his mouth. The hatred in her eyes grew even stronger, as if she wanted to kill Lin Rei immediately. "This matter, although I don't know how it happened, but it must be my fault. This is my fault, so, shut up, I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you have to make a decision, then marry me. As long as you marry me, I won't be with you anymore. How about it? Can you do it?" At this moment, Yao finally said her request. However, at this moment, Lin Rei was indeed silent. After hearing Yao's request, he was silent. "Heh, if you can't, then why are you boasting shamelessly about these people here?" With that, Yao walked towards the door. However, when she walked again, Yao's steps were erratic, and she was even limping. With every step, Yao's face would show a painful expression. Kacha! Bang! The sound of the door opening and closing could be heard. Lin Rei knew that she had left. She had left with hatred. Originally, he wanted to help her destroy the seed of world weariness, but now, things seemed to be getting worse. "Heh, it's not that I don't want to marry you, but I can't. I already have two at home. If I bring you with me, I will definitely let you down for the rest of my life." A worried look on his face, Lin Li put on his clothes, washed his face, and then spread out his divine sense. His home appeared within his divine sense, and he broke through the seal and released his cultivation base. With a single teleport, he disappeared from the hotel room. When he reappeared, Lin Li had already started eating. Within the Celestial Bay Garden Villa. Swish, swish, swish. After a few sounds, after Lin Rei suddenly appeared, a few figures instantly appeared in front of Lin Rei and surrounded Lin Rei. "All of you, back off. It's me." Seeing this efficiency, Lin Rei smiled and then let the few members of the dark department retreat. Swish, swish, swish. After receiving Lin Rei's order, everyone retreated. Lin Rei, on the other hand, walked towards the main entrance of the villa with a smile on his face. However, at this moment, Lin Rei's footsteps stopped in place. He could no longer move forward. In his eyes, there were tears. His gaze was fixed on the figure behind the villa door in front of him. "Ah, hubby, you're back?" Whoosh. After sensing Lin Rei, Jean Ling, who had been waiting at the door, revealed a look of surprise. In an instant, she used her cultivation and directly flashed in front of Lin Rei. In an instant, she hung on Lin Rei's body and looked at him intimately. Her face was full of smiles. "I'm sorry. I didn't come back last night and caused you to go crazy here for the whole night. Aren't you tired?" At this moment, Lin Rei came back to his senses. The tears in his eyes were diluted by Lin Rei. His eyes were filled with heartache. Looking at his own days, his face revealed an expression of heartache. "It's okay. It's not like I haven't waited before. Besides, I'm willing to wait for you. I'm willing to wait. Even if I have to wait forever, I'm willing. Although my cultivation isn't as high as yours and my lifespan isn't as long as yours, I'm willing to wait until my lifespan ends." One sentence from Jean Ling, directly caused Lin Rei, who had never cried much, to shed tears of happiness at this moment. He was crying now. With a wife like this, what else could a husband ask for? Alright, in the future, don't be like this again. Although you have a cultivation base, I will still feel sorry for you. However, before that, I have to find you and tell you something. If I don't tell you about this, I will always feel sorry for you. At this moment, seeing Jean Ling's appearance, Linley decided to tell her what happened last night. She wanted to tell her everything. Chapter 204. What's the matter? Seeing how serious you are, I'm a little scared. At this moment, Jean Ling, who was hanging on Lin Rei's body, heard her husband's words and quickly got down from his body, then asked curiously. Let's go. Let's go in and talk. I don't know what's going on either. Anyway, I can't explain this matter clearly. I can only tell you the general situation. With that, Lin Rei directly carried Jean Ling up in a princess carry and then walked towards the room. The relationship between the sect master's husband and the sect master is really good. At this moment, the 100 assassins hiding in the dark, after seeing Lin Rei's scene, all of them had smiles on their faces. They were very happy for them in their hearts. That's right. Our sect master is a famous good man. You don't know. According to internal information, during the 6 years that the sect master has been missing, the sect master has been cooking for the mistress. However, don't say all these words. I also heard this from others. I don't know if it's accurate or not. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't know that his own matters had become the topic of conversation for his subordinates after dinner. Lin Rei, who had returned to the room, placed Jean Ling on the bed. With a guilty expression, he told her what had happened the day before and the night before. Half an hour later, after Lin Rei had finished everything, he carefully raised his head and looked at Jean Ling, who was sitting on the bed. However, after seeing Jean Ling's expression again, Lin Rei was stunned. Because, he didn't see what he was thinking at all. Instead, he looked at him with a smile. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei felt even more guilty. Ling, I don't know how this happened, but don't worry, I won't do it again in the future. With you and Bing, I have no more desires in this life. At this moment, Lin Rei took the initiative to express his attitude, and then sat down next to Jean Ling with a smile. Hubby, I don't think we can just let this matter go. Suddenly, Lin Rei, who had just sat on the bed, heard Jean Ling's words, and his first reaction was to stand up and look at her worriedly. He didn't know what she was thinking. Aya, what are you afraid of? Lin Rei was dumbfounded. He was completely dumbfounded. He did not expect Jean Ling to say this, nor did he expect Jean Ling to be so magnanimous. Although Lin Rei knew that Jean Ling would agree to whatever he decided, Lin Rei was really not sure about this. What happened? Seeing her husband's surprised and puzzled look, Jean Ling asked in confusion. No, let's just leave this matter as it is. Since it was a mistake, why bother to correct it? Whatever he wants, I can satisfy him, but this is the only thing I won't do. With these words, Jean Ling's face revealed a happy smile. Before Lin Rei could finish speaking, Jean Ling's lips were pressed on Lin Rei's mouth. Suddenly, the heat of the bath soared, and a spring scene played out in the room. Moans came out of the room. At this moment, Lin Ro, who happened to pass by Lin Rei's door, heard this sound. Her face instantly turned red, and her heart was in a panic. She left the place in an instant. Lin Rei, who was busy, did not know that there was such an episode in the middle. Time passed. 2 hours later, the storm-like entanglement in the room finally ended. Hubby, since you don't want to marry her, then you have to find a way to make up for it. After all, she gave you her first time, and she even let go of the seed of world weariness. At this moment, Jean Ling, who was lying on Lin Rei's body, raised her head and looked at the smiling Lin Rei. Yes, I know about this. I've already sent the dark department to follow closely. As long as anything happens to that girl, he will get rid of all obstacles. After saying that, Lin Rei closed his eyes and fell asleep. Too many things had happened in the past 2 days. It was much more tiring than when he was in Tianxian. Jean Ling originally wanted to get up, but Lin Rei's arm strength was too strong. Even if there was always Jean Ling, who was at the nascent soul stage, she couldn't break it open. Moreover, she didn't want to disturb Lin Rei, so just like that, the two of them stayed together. The alternation of day and night was an eternal and unchanging rule. Originally, the morning wind was cool and penetrating, but as time passed, the wind blew over and the chill hit. The sky outside had endured until it was dark. At this moment, the lights in the villa were turned on and it was incomparably bright. In the room, Lin Rei also woke up from his sleep. After feeling the person on his body, Lin Rei only held her in his arms and didn't want to separate. Alright, hurry up and get up. You've been sleeping for a whole day, and I haven't gotten up yet. What would my younger brother and sister think if they saw this? Feeling the strength from Lin Rei's arm strength, Jean Ling knew that Lin Rei had woken up, so she quickly broke free from Lin Rei's restraints and began to put on her clothes. Alright. However, from tomorrow onwards, I will start to make my arrangements. I can't stay here forever. It's time for me to take action. The life here is no longer suitable for me. After the matters here are over, we can go back to the days when we are on the edge of life and death. At this moment, looking at Jean Ling who had her back facing him, he spoke out his thoughts. After leaving other cultivation planets, Lin Rei's face revealed a yearning expression. It's time for you to start. I haven't seen Mother since I came here. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Jean Ling also nodded in agreement and agreed. Don't worry. Soon, you will be able to see her. This time, I'm afraid the major families in Beijing will be reshuffled. At this moment, Lin Rei's face revealed a bloodthirsty expression, and the killing intent in his eyes couldn't help but burst out. Since that's the case, you don't have to worry about the family. You can go do your thing. I know that you won't have time to accompany me when you start to get busy. As she said this, Jean Ling's face revealed a disappointed expression, but at the same time, Jean Ling's eyes were filled with anticipation. It wasn't because Lin Rei couldn't accompany her, but because as long as Lin Rei made a move, her mother would return very quickly. Let's go. It's time for me to inform my male brother. For a cultivator, these many days are enough for him to learn all the knowledge. Now, I want to let everyone in the space know so that they can kidnap my Lin Rei's mother. I will let him know what it means to live a life worse than death, and what it means to regret. After saying this, Lin Rei began to put on his clothes. After he was dressed neatly, he brought Jean Ling to the hall for dinner. Then, he faced a member of the Dark Department and asked him to call his male brother back from Shanghai City. Yes, this subordinate will do it right away. Looking at the member of the Dark Department in front of him, he instantly disappeared from the villa. Now I want to see who dares to do this to my Lin Rei's mother. Raising his head and looking at the ink-black sky outside, Lin Rei's killing intent burst out. It's here, it's finally here. This Motherf asterisk cur made me sleep outside for several days. At this moment, not far away from Tianwan Garden, a person looked towards Tianwan Garden with excitement. F***CK, wait for me to find you. See if I don't spank your ass 5.5 times. At this time, after the man vented his frustration over the past few days, he quickly took out a space mobile phone from his pocket, pressed a few numbers on it and dialed them. Do. Hello, I'm the leader of the Dragon Group's Xian Group, Xianjing. You are? The phone was dialed, and on the other side of the phone, a deep voice came out. The man who was originally unhappy, after hearing that the person who answered the phone was the leader of the Xian Group, Xianjing, he quickly smiled. Oh, so it's the leader. Subordinate Wei Yuan, I have something to report. Oh. What is it that you can use the space phone to inform me? At this moment, Xianjing on the other side of the phone had a puzzled expression. Logically speaking, the space phone generally had a limited number of uses. Normally, no one would use it. But this time, Wei Yuan actually used it, which meant that the matter was indeed urgent. Leader, I found a strong murderous aura. It's very likely that it's the huge strength from before. With just one sentence, Xianjing was shocked. At this moment, Xuanjing's face revealed an excited smile as he impatiently asked, "Okay, send me the location." Remember, without the organization's permission, do not act rashly. This matter is not something you can handle. After speaking, Xianjing directly hung up the phone and brought a group of people to Wei Yuan's location. Damn, it can't be. He hung up just like that? At this moment, Wei Yuan, who originally thought that he would receive some rewards, revealed an unhappy expression after the phone was hung up. However, he did not dare to disobey the order and directly sent his location over. Not long after, Xianjing brought a group of people to where Wei Yuan was. Wei Yuan, where is the murderous aura? As soon as Xianjing came up, he directly asked Wei Yuan with a serious expression and an unquestionable tone. It's in Tianwan Garden, and the specific location should be there. As he spoke, Wei Yuan directly brought Xianjing to Tianwan Garden and pointed at the villa where Lin Rei lived. Are you sure? Xianjing asked with uncertainty. He was China's most mysterious soldier and he did not want to make such a mistake. Yes, I'm sure. At that time, the murderous aura was extremely strong. Under the influence of the murderous aura, the surrounding area became dispirited and listless. In the end, we followed it to this place. At this moment, Wei Yuan had already bet his life. In the end, he was sure that it was here. The murderous aura that was emitted? Okay, if that's the case, everyone, when we enter later, do not be rash. Before we know whether they are friend or foe, do not anger them. We don't know their strength, but we do know that they are extremely strong. Chapter 205. How is this possible? How can it be a woman? Xianjing, who was kneeling on the ground, was very unwilling. However, he had no way to stand up and refute. He could only secretly worry in his heart. Senior, we didn't mean to come here. It's just that a huge power suddenly appeared in our eyes, so, Xianjing didn't continue. He believed that even if he didn't say anything, she would understand. However, the things that she knew in the academy, the one who truly knew was not Jin Ling but Lin Rei. How would Jin Ling know about those things? Using his divine sense to sense the people of the dragon group outside, Lin Rei revealed a smile. He then secretly transmitted his message to Jin Ling, telling her to pass on his message. You guys can leave. This place isn't for you guys to come. Here, there is no existence that threatens the country. You don't have to worry about us harming the country. However, you guys came here today and trespassed into my house. I will remember this debt. You guys can leave. Senior, we didn't mean to come here. Please forgive us and let us fart. At this moment, when he heard Jin Ling say that there was no threat to the country, Xuanjing's worried heart relaxed. However, when he heard the second half of the sentence, Xianjing only wanted to cry. He had a stomach full of grievances and had nowhere to vent. Okay, this matter will end here. Remember what I said just now. If anyone from the dragon group comes here again, don't blame me. Not to mention the dragon group, even if all the cultivators in China were to come together, I would be able to destroy them in an instant. Of course, you guys can choose not to believe me. Everything I say depends on you guys. So, you guys have to be careful. Don't try to challenge my bottom line. After saying this, Lin Rei's middle stage crossing calamity cultivation pressure instantly rushed out of the villa and rolled over the people of the dragon group. Boom! Everyone, upon sensing Lin Li's aura of power, couldn't bear it any longer and collapsed to the ground, their faces intimately touching the ground. This kind of cultivation, I'm afraid only the Kunlun sect master has this kind of cultivation. Who is this woman? Why does she have such a cultivation? At this moment, when Xianjing felt this pressure, he was extremely shocked. His eyes were filled with disbelief and his heart was shocked beyond compare. He had only felt this kind of cultivation pressure from the Kunlun sect leader a few years ago during the cultivators' gathering. He never thought that after so many years, when he felt it again, it would be from a woman. Remember what I said. Take your people and leave quickly. There is no one here that you can deal with. It's best if you don't try to invite those with high cultivation because they are all trash in my eyes. After saying that, Jin Ling turned around and walked in. Of course, this was also what Lin Rei said. Outside, Xianjing and the others, who were lying on the ground, quickly stood up when they felt the pressure disappear. Then, they faced Lin Rei's villa and bowed. Many thanks to Senior for not killing us. We, the members of the Dragon Group, will remember this in our hearts. Then, if there's nothing else, we will take our leave first. After saying that, he paused for a while. Then, without hearing any sound, Xianjing brought his remaining subordinates and left. When he left, he couldn't help but look at the villa's courtyard. Brothers, I'm sorry for not being able to stop you in time. Don't worry. I will help you take care of your families. Brothers. Have a good trip. Looking at the place where his brothers died, Xianjing couldn't help but sigh in his heart. His eyes also became moist. They're all gone. This place has returned to its peaceful state. After sending them off with his divine sense, Lin Rei sighed and the smile on his face disappeared. And, they're gone. However, these people don't seem to be bad people. At this moment, seeing her husband's appearance, Jin Ling's heart ached. However, when she thought about the dozen people that were killed by them, Jin Ling couldn't help but ask curiously. That's right, they aren't bad people. They are all the protectors of China. It is because of them that this country can live so peacefully. As he spoke, the guilt on Lin Rei's face became even more intense. His eyes couldn't help but become moist. Although they had nothing to do with Lin Rei, they were still his compatriots. They were the mysterious organization of China and they were the descendants of heroes who died on the battlefield in order to live a peaceful life. Okay, at most, if China has any problems in the future, just help. If you don't understand, you can help China train a new batch of protectors. This way, you won't feel sorry for those who just died. Moreover, they were the ones who were rude first. That's right. After listening to his wife's words, Lin Rei suddenly felt enlightened. Then, he hugged Jin Ling and kissed his forehead. He smiled and said, yes, you're right. I want to help China train a batch of protectors. With them, China will be invaded by other countries. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was full of smiles. The guilt from before was swept away and disappeared without a trace. Okay, you go to sleep. I'll wait for my younger brother here. They should be back soon. Seeing that her husband was happy, she was also very happy. When she heard Lin Rei's words, Jin Ling left the living room obediently and went back to her room to sleep. Shanghai City. At this moment, in the presidential suite on the top floor of a 5-star hotel, the person who was sent by Lin Rei to find his younger brother was now in front of Dong Xiaonan, conveying Lin Rei's words. Elder, the sect master said that he wants you to go back with me. He said that he has something important to discuss. He also asked the other dark department here to go back with him. Oh. At this moment, the young man was full of curiosity. He didn't understand. At the beginning, Lin Rei had left him here, but now, he wanted to go and meet him. This made Dong Xiaonan a little confused. You mean, the sect master, I will go back with you, and the dark department here will also go back with you? Dong Xiaonan asked again with uncertainty. Finally, after hearing the dark department's words, he believed it at noon. Yes. The sect master said that the matter is very urgent and he wants you to set off immediately. With that, the dark department stood up and casually packed up. Then, he took the other dark department and used the fastest speed to teleport back to the villa. Damn, can you guys slow down a little? Teleporting here and there, I'm about to throw up. At this moment, Dong Xiaonan, who stopped at the entrance of the villa, had a pale face and trembling teeth. His eyes were full of complaints as he reprimanded the dark department who teleported with him. I'm sorry, Elder. We had no choice. Besides, as long as you wrap yourself with your own spiritual power, you won't have to suffer this. At this moment, one of the men from the dark team, who had been standing to the side, said that the young man wanted to kill them. Sure enough, after the man from the dark team finished speaking, Dong Xiaonan's hair stood on end. Damn, you guys. Why didn't you say it just now? You're making me feel so uncomfortable now. Elder, we thought you knew. The dark department members responded to Dong Xiaonan's words with grievances in their fear. For a moment, Dong Xiaonan was even more angry. I'm not in the combination realm. For the past few years, I've been stopping my cultivation at the peak of the spirit-severing realm because of the business. I was just a little bit away from breaking through to the combination realm. If you didn't tell me, how would I know? The dark department members had a guilty look on their faces and muttered, We're sorry, Elder. This is our fault. We won't do it again in the future. In the future. In 2 days, I'll break through quickly. By then, I'll be able to teleport myself. After saying that, Dong Xiaonan didn't say a word. Instead, she pushed the door open and walked in. Damn, Brother Lei lives in such a luxurious place. Dong Xiaonan walked in and looked at the artistic villa. It was so beautiful that she was envious. Gotcha. Just as Dong Xiaonan was about to open the door of the villa, the door opened and Linli walked out. Ha ha ha, young man, you're finally here. As soon as he saw Dong Xiaonan again, Linli walked forward and hugged his little brother, his heart filled with excitement. Damn, Brother Lei, can you let go of me first? It's easy for others to think that we're made of glass. At this moment, Dong Xiaonan, who was being hugged by Lin Rei, was also very excited. However, she didn't want to say something so emotional that Lin Rei was stunned. You're really... Lin Rei wanted to say something, but he didn't say it in the end. Instead, he brought Dong Xiaonan into the villa. Okay, young man, go and find a room later. When you've settled down, we'll talk about it. I'm going abroad for a few days. When I come back, I promise to give you something you'll never expect. I'll make sure you'll feel it. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was sitting on the sofa in the living room, said to the young man sitting opposite him with an excited expression on his face. Oh. You're going abroad? Hearing Lin Rei's words, Dong Xiaonan asked directly. She didn't ask for anything good, but where to go. Yes, for a few days. At the latest, it'll be a few months. My younger siblings and Ling Er are at home. I'll go with you. Before Lin Rei finished his words, the young man's words stunned Lin Rei. I also want to go out and have a look. I've been here for so many days, but I haven't had the chance to go out and have a look. I'm so bored every day. Hearing the young man's words, Lin Rei's face showed a guilty expression. He felt even more guilty in his heart. Okay, since you want to go, let's go together. Chapter 206. After making the decision, Lin Rei didn't stay for long. He left a note on the table and flew out of the country with his brother. The two of them left the villa and immediately took out the Yi-Mu 10,000 Law's sword. They soared into the sky, and like a ray of light, they disappeared. As for Dong Xiaonan, she didn't want to be left behind. She also took out her flying sword, transforming into a ray of light and chasing after Linli. Before leaving, Lin Rei reminded the members of the dark group, remember, when I'm not here, you must protect a young lady, and young master. Do you understand? And Black Shadow, when he comes back, ask him to go to Yanjing University and follow the people who are following Lin Feng and Lin Ro. Before I come back, I have to know who is following me. When the members of the dark group heard the news, they couldn't help but feel happy. Although they had a difficult expression on their faces, their hearts were already blooming with joy. Humph, this time, the leader of Black Shadow will be busy. Ha ha ha, he usually bullies us. This sentence didn't represent one person, but the voice of all the members of the dark group. After receiving the order, they all returned to their posts. Lin Rei and Dong Xiaonan also flew away on their flying swords. As the saying goes, some people are happy while others are sad. Lin Rei was very happy because everything was going according to the plan. On the other hand, Yao Er, who was slept with by Lin Rei, wasn't very optimistic. In the pitch-black night, Yao Er was walking alone on the streets. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she was sobbing with grievance. She was still wearing the same clothes. After leaving the hotel this morning, Yao Er didn't go home. It wasn't that she didn't want to go home. After all, which girl didn't want to go home to seek protection after being hurt? But she didn't dare to. After coming out in the morning, Yao Er, who originally wanted to go home, found that Lin Rei had left kiss marks all over his neck. Also, there were many women on his body. He didn't dare to go back, he was afraid that his father would see. She thought about how old her father was. If anything happened to him because of her, she would be a sinner for all eternity. She couldn't and didn't dare. She didn't even dare to look for her good friends. She was afraid that they would look down on her if they saw her like this. Therefore, after leaving the hotel, she had been wearing a hat and wandering around the streets. Until now, she had walked from the east end of Yanjing to the west end of the city. She had not eaten or even drunk a mouthful of water. At this moment, her vision started to blur and she felt dizzy. In her heart, she really wanted to find a place to lie down and have a good sleep. Sigh. What a stubborn girl. At this moment, the Dark Ops member who had been hiding in the dark and received Lin Rei's orders had been following her for the whole day. He had recorded her every move. The Dark Ops member sighed for Yao Er in his heart. His colleagues couldn't stand it anymore, but there was nothing they could do. After all, it was Lin Rei's orders. Forget it. Let's go buy some food for her. If she starves, I can't bear the consequences if the sect leader blames me. With that, the Dark Ops member took out a Red Bull from his pocket and went to a small convenience store to buy some food and drinks. Then, he walked out of the store and released his divine sense to search for Yao Er's current location. At this moment, in a dark alley, two extremely wretched men with lustful faces and lustful expressions were looking at the girl in front of them. They reeked of alcohol and were looking at her with their mouths slurred. Little girl, what are you doing here in the middle of the night? Don't tell me you're waiting here for us to come and dote on you. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, old young, you're right. Such a pretty girl, I have to go first. You were the one who did it last time. At this moment, the man next to him heard his friend's words and said with a displeased face. You. What do you want? Let me tell you, this is, at this moment, the girl's whole body trembled and tears flowed uncontrollably down her cheeks. This girl was none other than Yao Er, who had been wandering around outside, not daring to return home. Originally, she had wanted to find a place to settle down for the night after transferring. However, all of a sudden, she had met two middle-aged men who were drunk and lustful. They had chased Yao Er all the way to this alley. Why? Why is God doing this to me? What did I do wrong? At this moment, Yao Er's heart was filled with confusion and sadness. Her face was pale with fright. Hee hee, okay. You go first, okay? But you have to be quick. I don't want to be covered in your liquid when I'm doing it. At this moment, the two middle-aged men were in front of Yao Er, talking about how they were going to defile her. This scene made Yao Er, who was screaming for help, fall silent. At this moment, Yao Er's eyes were gray and lifeless. Her body was limp on the ground, as if she had already accepted her fate. Okay. Then I'll go first. You have to guard me. After saying that, the man came in front of Yao Er and pressed her to the ground, preparing to take off his clothes. When a man was fastest, that was when he was working and eating. Soon, the man took off his clothes and was about to take off Yao Er's clothes. But at this moment, a shadow appeared in front of the man and he stopped. He raised his head and looked at the person who came in front of him. At first glance, the man was shocked. It was a young man with long hair and wearing ancient clothes. He was looking at him with a murderous look. Boy, don't play tricks on me. If you know what's good for you, leave quickly. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Do you believe it? The naked middle-aged man snapped out of his daze and took out a knife from his clothes. He then pointed it at the man and said, "Don't worry. Humph, you have guts. How dare you touch the person my lord wants to protect? I think you don't want to live anymore." At this moment, the man dressed in ancient clothing was the Dark Ops member who was sent by Linley to protect Yao Er. He had just finished shopping when he spread out his divine sense and saw this scene. In an instant, the members of the Dark Ops rushed over. Fortunately, they made it in time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. After the man from the dark group finished speaking, he raised his hand and formed a semicircle. Then, a strong suction force came out from his palm and directly sucked the naked middle-aged man over. He grabbed his neck. The other hand helped Yao Er, who was lying on the ground, and said gently, "Miss Yao Er, I don't know what to do with this man." At this moment, Yao Er also recovered from her shock. But when she heard the man from the dark group's question, she couldn't help but think about the lord she heard from the dark group. She was curious. "Excuse me, who are you? And, how do you know my name? And who is the lord you mentioned? Why is he protecting me?" Yao Er asked all the questions in her heart. The fear from before was swept away. At this moment, she just wanted to know who the lord was and why he wanted to protect her. Miss Yao Er, it's not that I don't want to tell you. The lord said that he only wants me to follow you and protect you. If there is anything you want, I have to try my best to satisfy you. Of course, if there is something you don't want and they have bad intentions or have bad intentions towards you, I will deal with them directly. At this moment, Yao Er's heart was filled with shock. She was shocked that this person who was about the same age as her, who was so gentle when talking to her, would suddenly become extremely cold when talking about the person who threatened her. Kacha, the man from the dark group, squeezed the middle-aged man's hand and the sound of bones breaking came from the man's neck. It directly scared Yao Er, who was beside him. Originally, Yao Er was just joking with the man from the dark group. She didn't expect that he would really dare to kill him. "Miss Yao Er, please wait here for a moment. I will be back soon." After throwing the lifeless middle-aged man to the side, he said to Yao Er with a smile on his face and came to the place where another middle-aged man was. Soon, the man from the dark group dragged a corpse into the alley. At this moment, when she thought of the smile the man from the dark group smiled at her, she felt that it wasn't a smile, but the Grim Reaper waving at her. Dong, after throwing the corpse to the side, the man came to Yao Er's side and said with a smile, "Miss Yao Er, it's been a day and you haven't eaten or drunk anything. Just now, I went to buy something for you and something like this happened. But don't worry, I want to assure you that something like this will never happen again." The man from the dark group took out the food he bought from the store and handed it to Yao Er. He had a solemn expression and his tone was very precious. No, I want to know why your sect master helped me. Also, if you killed them, will the police?" Yao Er thought about it. The man in front of her killed them all for her. What if the police caught him? Thinking of this, Yao Er didn't think about it anymore. Miss Yao Er, don't worry. It's okay, the two of them aren't important now. The most important thing now is that you quickly fill your stomach. Then, find a place to rest for the night. You haven't stopped for the whole day today. As he spoke, the man from the dark group took out a stack of red banknotes and handed it to Yao Er. I can't accept this. You have already bought me so much food. If you give me so much money, then I will feel very embarrassed. Chapter 207. In the end, Yao Er didn't take the money. However, the dark department still booked a hotel for her. Although she said that she didn't want the money, under the persuasion of the dark department, Yao Er stayed in the hotel. At this moment, Yao Er's mood was much better than before. Because the dark department saved her, she saw hope again. Yao Er stayed in the hotel and gave her father a call. She told him that she would be staying at a classmate's house for the next few days. In the end, her father agreed and Yao Er let out a sigh of relief. After seeing that Yao Er was safe, the dark tribe member who had been following Yao Er all this time went back to hiding around her. He used his divine sense to observe her every move. Of course, when he was sleeping, his divine sense was only used to observe the door and windows. East of Yanjing, under an abandoned factory. At this moment, a group of people were gathered. Every one of them had an aura that could be described as either rich or noble. Every one of them had a cold face and were insufferably arrogant. Kacha. In another part of the underground room, a door that had been tightly shut all this time opened at this moment. The kacha-kacha sounds were like a heart, thumping loudly. Finally, it opened completely. Behind the door, 4 people walked out unhurriedly. At this moment, they had a serious expression on their faces. At this moment, all of them released their cultivation. Every one of them had a cultivation that was above Anidia. The highest cultivation was at the Golden Core middle stage. Among the 4 of them, there was Xianjing who went to Lin Rei's house and returned empty-handed. Instead, he lost more than 10 members of the dragon group. At this moment, the guilt on his face had yet to fade. Of course, not only was there guilt in his eyes, but there was also fear. At this moment, when he thought about what happened in Lin Rei's house, his whole body trembled uncontrollably, accompanied by cold sweat. Greetings to the 4 leaders of the dragon group, Tian, Di, Xian and Huang. Today, we were urgently summoned here. Do you have any instructions? We are still trying to find that terrifying power. At this moment, after seeing the 4 of them, everyone bowed and greeted them. Everyone, please take a seat. The reason I summoned you this time is because I have something important to tell you. This matter concerns the safety of your lives. At this moment, the leader of the 4 said to the crowd with a dignified and domineering expression. What? Is it related to our lives? At that moment, after hearing the old man's words, everyone quieted down. Following the old man's instructions, they sat down and listened attentively. What was about to happen next would be something that concerned their lives. At this moment, no one spoke. Although they didn't know what could threaten their lives, they had no choice but to remain silent for the sake of their own lives. They didn't want to die. All right, since everyone is here, I, Long Tian, will not waste any more time. I've gathered all of you here today to inform you that we've found that terrifying force. Wow. After Long Tian finished speaking, everyone present began to discuss. You found it? When did that happen? Yeah. When did you find it? What kind of people are they? At this moment, the clamor below caused Long Tian and the others to frown and reveal an irritated expression. All of you, shut up. With the cultivation of the intermediate golden core stage, Long Tian's words immediately suppressed the clamor of the crowd. Instantly, the entire place became abnormally quiet. Even if a needle were to fall, it would be possible to hear it. What are you all saying? You're all national-level cadres. How can you be so uncultured at this time? Let your elders know. Let's see if they don't throw you into purgatory to cultivate. At this moment, Long Tian was like an elder lecturing his juniors. He was incomparably dignified. Even the leader of the mysterious group, Xianjing, didn't dare to breathe loudly. In a while, no matter what I say, you all have to hold it in. If anyone dares to speak again, I'll ask your elders to throw you all into purgatory. I think everyone knows what kind of place purgatory is without me introducing you." Long Tian, who was sitting on his seat, saw that the crowd had quietened down and continued, "We've found the person." However, the strength of the other party far exceeded our expectations. The other party, without even appearing, was able to kill more than 10 members of the mysterious group. Moreover, not even their bones were left behind. This matter is in charge of group leader Xianjing. Let him introduce everyone to the situation of that expert. I'm not too sure about the specifics. At this moment, Long Tian, who was speaking, gave the opportunity to speak to Xianjing, who had been silent the entire time. Immediately, everyone's gazes focused on Xianjing, causing Xianjing to feel an inexplicable sense of nervousness. Since group leader Long Tian wants me to speak, then I'll speak." Hearing Long Tian's words, Xianjing immediately stood up and said to the crowd below, "This matter is classified as an SSS rank secret. No one is allowed to speak of it. If I find out that anyone speaks of it outside, no matter what family it is, they will suffer the annihilation of the dragon group." As Xianjing stood up, his nervousness disappeared. Instead, it was replaced with a threatening gaze. He faced the crowd and told them the importance of this matter. "I hope that after I speak of it, no one will look for it. If you see it in the future, I still hope that everyone can take a detour. That villa has already been listed as a forbidden area." At this moment, when he thought of Lin Rei's villa, Xuanjing's body couldn't help but tremble. His eyes were filled with fear and cold sweat dripped down from his head. The people sitting below were even more annoyed. After seeing this scene, they were all dumbfounded. Group leader Xianjing, looking at your current appearance, it seems like you're afraid when you think of that place. Is it really as terrifying as you say? At this moment, an arrogant man sitting in the first row couldn't help but ask after seeing Xuanjing's appearance. The man's words were exactly what the people behind him wanted to ask. However, they didn't dare to. They didn't want to be thrown into the purgatory that Long Tian spoke of. In the purgatory, there was only endless darkness. It could be said that it was an era of darkness. In there was no sympathy, no friendship, and no love. In there was only endless killing. Only by killing could one protect themselves. The purgatory was an alternate dimension that had appeared a very long time ago. Simply put, it was an enormous spell formation. Inside it, there were all sorts of devils, demons, ghosts, and even the rare Azuras. Their cultivation bases were all randomly selected. However, at the same time, danger and opportunity coexisted. When the cultivators entered the purgatory and killed the creatures in the purgatory, they would fall out of the purgatory. Simply put, it was similar to Lin Rei's system. However, no one knew how this purgatory came to be or when it appeared. At this moment, Xianjing, who was sitting at the top, heard the words of the people below. In an instant, the fear in his eyes turned into fear. When he heard the words of the people from the dragon group, Xuanjing's mind recalled the time when he was at the entrance of Lin Rei's villa. He watched as his brother disappeared in front of him and was unable to stop the scene. At this moment, all of this appeared in his mind. Strong, that's not just strong. Although I don't know how strong she is, her strength is comparable to the sect leader of the Kunlun sect. That was just a bit of pressure. As for her specific cultivation level, I don't know. At this moment, Xuanjing's face revealed a miserable smile as he recounted the scene of that day. Not only that, do you know what I saw? I saw a girl around 20 years old. This sentence once again set off a frenzy of public opinion. At this moment, without hearing Xuanjing's words, they didn't know what to say. They only knew that the cultivation level of the sect leader of the Kunlun sect was one of the best in this space. When they heard Xuanjing's words, they still had some doubts in their hearts. However, to the words of the leader of the dragon group's Xian group, it was the truth. I don't want to express anything by saying all this. I only want to say that the senior has already spoken. She is no threat to the country and has her own things to do. He will not interfere with any of the country's matters. However, he also said that this matter will end here. In the future, he doesn't want to see anyone from the dragon group around his villa. He said that he has the strength to destroy all the sects in China in a matter of minutes. Of course, the Kunlun sect is among them. At this moment, Xianjing felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. His entire body relaxed and the frightened expression on his face disappeared. However, at this moment, his clothes were completely drenched. All right, everyone, since you've heard Leader Xuanjing's words, then in the future, be careful. Don't ever thank me for angering that person. No matter if you meet him or not, if you see him, leave or take a detour. With such a strong enemy, it's best to avoid as much contact as possible. Having one more friend is always better than having one more enemy. As for that person's location, I will send it to your phones in a moment. Remember, I don't want to collect your corpses, nor do I want you to send yourselves to death. As he spoke, Long Tian's face returned to its usual seriousness. However, he was much more cautious than before. In the next few days, the #1 official will be here to give a speech. In the next few days, I don't want to hear any bad things about you. Remember, in the next few days, be quiet. Chapter 208. After he finished speaking, Long Tian stepped through the door behind him. However, the remaining 3 people stood up and walked outside. They did not follow Long Tian but returned to their respective offices. Now that they had no leader, there was no one who could suppress these people who thought they were better than others. After the few team leaders left, the originally quiet people instantly became lively. They even led the others to walk together and discuss. Do you guys think that what the group leader said was true? In this world, is there really someone who is stronger than a top sect like Kunlun? I don't believe it. Kunlun sect. What kind of existence is that? Even the Long family has to be polite to them. In any case, I don't believe it. At this moment, there were groups of 3 and groups of 5. The topic of discussion was all about what had just happened in Xianjing. All of you shut up. Do you think that the group leaders are all good people? Long Tian is the leader of the Heaven team and the current elder of the Long family. Shui Jingtian is the leader of the Earth team. Although he isn't a big figure in the Shui family, he is the most mysterious family of the 5 great families. Other than the Xian team and Huang team, they are all male geniuses. Do you really think that they have nothing better to do and are lying to you? Just as everyone was discussing and arguing with faces full of doubt, an uncoordinated voice suddenly rang out. The voice was filled with disdain. With a schwa sound, everyone's gazes focused on the person who spoke. This person wasn't very handsome and was very young. He looked to be in his teens or 20s. However, he had an aura that made people believe in him. No one knew who he was. Even the old people who had worked in Group 4 for many years didn't recognize him. No one knew when he came and they didn't even know how he came. Hey, brat, who are you? Why haven't we seen you before? At this moment, a person with a face full of displeasure and a fiendish look asked the young man who had just spoken. That's right. Brat, who are you? You don't have the right to speak here. At this time, everyone launched a verbal attack. Everyone followed the first person who spoke and refuted. As expected, a motley crew. No wonder the dragon group only has so few people after so many years. How disappointing. At this moment, after seeing everyone's performance, a heartfelt sigh appeared on the man's face. Why don't you think about it? Do they need to lie to you? Moreover, according to the information I received, when that group of people appeared, their colleagues, the old monsters who were in seclusion somewhere in Wuxia, also had accidents. Everyone said that the world was going to be in chaos, so what they said should be true. It's just that we don't know how powerful that group of people is. At this moment, the man's face also revealed an unsightly expression. His brows were tightly furrowed, as if something bad was about to happen. What? The old fellows have all come out. Suddenly, a cry of surprise came from the center of the crowd. For a moment, everyone's gaze shifted to that person. F***ck, what are you yelling about? Everyone's eyes were filled with confusion as they looked at the man who had cried out in alarm. Their eyes were filled with confusion. I wouldn't dare. If the old fellows come out, wouldn't I be in trouble? No, absolutely not. I have to go abroad and hide for 2 days. At that moment, the man who cried out in alarm did not seem to have heard what they said. Instead, he stood there alone, talking to himself. There was a look of panic in his eyes. Then, he quickly left the crowd and disappeared. When everyone saw this scene, they were even more confused. They did not understand why the young man was so afraid of the old fellows that he spoke of. All right, let's end this matter here. Remember, this matter ends here. When I send you the address later, you can only look at it and not do what you think. Otherwise, no one will be able to protect you. After saying that, the young man also walked out, leaving behind the confused members of the dragon group. In the end, the matter was gloomy and no one mentioned it again. All the members of the dragon group walked out of the abandoned factory and returned to their posts. At this moment, far above the Pacific Ocean, 2 beams of light streaked across the sky like shooting stars and disappeared into the horizon. Brother Lei, what is the place you were talking about? Also, you said that you would give me something. Since we have all the time now, why don't you give it to me now? At this moment, the 2 beams of light above the Pacific Ocean were Lin Rei and the young man who were flying on their swords. At this moment, the young man was very bored and started talking to Lin Rei. Since you're already here, then why should I give it to you? This time, I came here to control one of the top companies in the world and then let you be their leader. This way, I can hide behind the scenes. Of course, at the same time, I need this kind of power to force my mother out. Or rather, force out the people who kidnapped my mother. I want them to know that if they dare to touch my reverse scale, they are undoubtedly courting death. Hearing the young man's words, Lin Rei smiled and said. However, the more he spoke, the more the smile on Lin Rei's face disappeared and was replaced by a murderous look. In an instant, the surrounding temperature gradually dropped. Hiss. The young man next to him felt the murderous aura coming from Lin Rei's body and his whole body began to tremble. Fortunately, his cultivation was still considered good and he was not directly stopped in midair by Lin Rei's murderous aura. Brother Lei, don't worry. Your business is my business. As long as it's something you ask of me, I, Dong Xiaonan, will definitely do it. I believe that I will be able to find Auntie very soon. At this moment, when the young man mentioned his mother, his face could not help but reveal a sad expression. Lin Rei could tell that the young man missed his family. I know. That's why I have to leave this matter to you. I don't trust anyone else. As he spoke, Lin Li smiled at the young man, then slowed down. When the young man caught up, the 2 of them were running side by side. Don't worry. When my strength reaches a certain level, I will bring you back to Tianxian and bring your family out. At that time, you can live together. I also want to help you now, but I don't have the strength now. The only chance is to wait. When my strength reaches a certain level, I will bring you back immediately. At this moment, Lin Rei said to the young man whose eyes were filled with sadness and guilt. Really? The young man had thought about this before, but he was too embarrassed to mention it to Lin Rei. In the end, he could only let it go. What Lin Rei had said just now was completely unexpected. It's all true. When have I ever lied to you? You are an elder of the Xuanzong sect. You are also my good brother. Tell me, why would I lie to you? Hearing the young man's words, Lin Rei smiled helplessly and said the answer that the young man wanted to hear. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Lei. At this moment, the young man's voice was filled with emotion. His eyes were filled with gratitude as he looked at Lin Rei. If they were not flying on their swords, the young man would probably have bowed to Lin Rei. "Ah, it's fine. Are we all brothers? Your business is my business, Lin Rei's business. However, you won't be able to see your family during this period of time. It's fine. We are all cultivators, so we don't have a concept of time. This period of time will pass in the blink of an eye. I can wait." Looking at the young man's excited expression, Lin Rei felt very regretful. He regretted not taking the young man's family with him when he left the Tianxian continent. However, it was useless to say anything now. It was a foregone conclusion. Everything could not be undone. "Alright, focus on flying your swords. We have now reached the center of the Pacific Ocean. Although we know that there shouldn't be any demonic beasts here, we should still be prepared. It's better for us to be careful." At this moment, Lin Rei's expression was serious as he stared at the Pacific Ocean below. Lin Rei felt a little uneasy in his heart. He felt that this place was very dangerous, and he was worried that he did not know how dangerous it was. In the end, Lin Rei could only tell the young man beside him to be more vigilant. "Oh, got it, Brother Lei." Hearing Lin Rei's words, the young man also became vigilant. However, he did not have the same feeling as Lin Rei. The young man only saw Lin Rei's vigilant look, so he also became vigilant. The two of them flew very fast. Of course, if Lin Rei was alone, he would be even faster. However, at this moment, for the sake of the young man, he had no choice but to slow down so that the young man could keep up. Time passed bit by bit. Lin Rei and the young man had already arrived at the center of the Pacific Ocean. Similarly, it was also here that every time a ship passed by, it would have an accident and eventually sink to the bottom of the sea. No one knew what was going on. In the end, many countries did not give an answer. In the end, they could only leave it unsettled. It was as if nothing had happened. Let me ask you. Why is the sense of uneasiness in my heart getting stronger and stronger? I didn't feel this way when I was in the profound sky continent. Why do I feel this sense of uneasiness that I have never felt before in this place where spiritual energy is extremely scarce? At this moment, the sense of uneasiness in his heart was getting stronger and stronger, but he couldn't get any information in his heart. In fact, the feeling was getting more and more intense, as if a robbery could happen at any time. "Young man, you have to be careful later. If something happens to me, you have to leave this place quickly and head overseas. Then, find a few of the top companies in the world and make them eat these mind-controlling pills." As he said that, Lin Rei stopped in the air. Then, he took out a few mind-controlling pills from his ring and handed them over to the young man. "Brother Lei, what's wrong with you? Did something bad happen?" At this moment, the young man's heart was filled with doubts as he looked at the pills that were handed over to him. He subconsciously reached out and took the mind-controlling pills as he asked Lin Rei doubtfully. At this moment, danger was approaching. Lin Rei knew that there was going to be a bloody battle. However, the young man beside him asked him with a blank face. Lin Rei knew very well that this kind of danger was something only he could feel. Perhaps it was because of the difference in their cultivation levels. Dong! At this moment, just as Lin Rei was about to say something, the ground below suddenly exploded. An unknown thing came out and wrapped around Lin Rei's waist. Then, it started to drag him towards the Pacific Ocean. "Young man, hurry up and go to the destination as fast as you can. Remember, after you control them, make their company move to Beijing. When the time comes, you have to find my mother through any means. That's if I can still make it back alive." Before Lin Rei disappeared into the water, Lin Rei used all his strength to shout in the direction of the young man. However, the young man was already scared out of his wits. He just stared blankly in the direction where Lin Rei was. "No. No, Brother Lei, I'll save you." After hearing Lin Rei's words, Dong Xiaonan was about to rush forward to save Lin Rei, but she was stopped by Lin Rei. "No, young man, I don't know what this thing is exactly." Furthermore, its cultivation level is very high, so you have to leave this place quickly. I don't want you to make unnecessary sacrifices. After saying that, Lin Rei completely disappeared into the water and entered the Pacific Ocean. The young man who was still in the air came to his senses when he heard Lin Rei's last sentence. Then, he flew in the direction of Country M and disappeared into the horizon. As for the place where Linley had disappeared, it was now completely peaceful again. Right now, all that could be seen was the calm surface of the water, nothing else. At this moment, the young man who was flying at high speed felt very disappointed. He swore in his heart, "Brother Lei, don't worry. As long as I, Dong Xiaonan, am still alive, I will definitely be able to help you find Auntie and wait for your return." Dong Xiaonan, who had made the vow, had no regrets in her heart, only unwillingness. She was unwilling that when Linley was in danger, he was the only one who could protect her while she could do nothing. She was unwilling that she didn't have a better cultivation base to help Linley. The only thing she could do was help manage the business. There was nothing else she could do. However, Lin Rei didn't have such thoughts at this moment. At this moment, in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, Lin Rei looked around at the pitch-black sea. Other than water, there was only water. He felt very helpless, but he was also very happy. He was helpless because of his current situation, and happy because his young man hadn't been caught. He wouldn't be sad because his young man was gone. Instead, he was happy because he knew very well that even if his young man was here, he would still be dragged into the water. For this reason, Lin Rei still had to pay attention to his young man's safety. Since his young man wasn't here, it meant that he didn't have any worries. Then, he could focus on dealing with the unknown object that dragged him into the Pacific Ocean. "Oh, I want to see what kind of thing you are. How dare you use force on me?" Chapter 209. At this moment, Linley's heart was filled with excitement. Ever since he had returned from the profound sky continent, he had never met a cultivator who could match him. On the surface, Linley appeared to be very happy because he had seen his family. However, in his heart, he felt very helpless. What would a cultivator do if he didn't have a worthy opponent? When he felt the sense of crisis just now, Lin Rei was excited. No matter what kind of creature dragged him to the bottom of the sea, a creature that could capture a cultivator in the crossing tribulation realm was absolutely not to be underestimated. The surroundings were extremely cold and dark. Looking at the endless bottom of the sea, Lin Rei narrowed his eyes with a playful smile on his face. For a cultivator, in such an environment, it was impossible to block his vision, no matter what the environment was. Therefore, for Lin Rei, this was not a problem at all. Swish! The surrounding seawater moved and the undercurrent was extremely powerful. Lin Rei's body floated freely in the sea uncontrollably. Looking at the surging undercurrent, even if a cultivator in the Foundation establishment realm came here, he would have been crushed by the pressure of the seawater. He would not be able to see the existence of the undercurrent at all. Lin Rei did not feel any pain. With the cultivation of the middle stage of the crossing tribulation realm, this was simply a piece of cake for him. Of course, there would always be an impact. If the distance was deep enough, Lin Rei would not be able to withstand the pressure of the seawater. "Humph, come. Allow me to see exactly what sort of thing you are. You actually have the ability to capture this exalted." At this moment, the Martial Emperor Divine Spear was summoned by Lin Rei. This was the first time he took it out since he came back. At this moment, not only was Lin Rei excited, even the Martial Emperor Divine Spear in his hand made an excited sound. "Huh, old man, are you very happy too? Don't worry. This time, I will let you have a good fight." After sensing the Martial Emperor Divine Spear's state, Lin Rei said to it with a smile. The next moment, a cold light flashed from the tip of the Martial Emperor Divine Spear. At this time, a black shadow swam past. Its body was so huge that Lin Rei found it hard to imagine that he would be able to see the existence of a demon beast in this space. This made Lin Rei even more excited. Heh, demonic beast, I was right to come this time. Now, let's fight side by side. His right hand gripped the martial Emperor Divine spear tightly as he swam excitedly. His speed was surprisingly fast, as if his strength was not affected by being in the water. Let me see what kind of creature you are, to actually dare to eat such a huge body. Lin Rei held the martial Emperor Divine spear and quickly caught up with the huge figure. Slowly, the monster's figure appeared in Lin Rei's eyes. It was a dragon covered with scales. The first thought that came to his mind was how there could be a dragon here. However, Lin Rei was wrong. It was not a dragon at all, but a flood dragon. A flood dragon that had cultivated for God knows how many years. Aoo, aoo. Suddenly, Lin Rei saw the creature's true form clearly. Suddenly, a look of surprise appeared on his face. Heh, at this level, you should be able to speak human language. Hey, do you think I'm right? At this time, Lin Rei understood that the flood dragon in front of him should be able to speak. However, Lin Rei was not sure. After all, the demonic beasts in different places were different. Therefore, Lin Rei asked the flood dragon in a tentative tone. Aoo. Human boy, you're right. At my level, let alone speaking, I can even transform into a human being. However, from the inherited consciousness, I found that in order to transform into a human being, I need a kind of shape-shifting elixir. This is something that we demonic beasts need. At this moment, the flood dragon spoke human language. It turned its huge head to look at Lin Rei and said in a loud voice. However, as it spoke, there was an undercurrent that surged towards Lin Rei. It was unknown whether the flood dragon did it on purpose or not. After sensing this, a playful smile appeared on Lin Rei's face. He raised his left hand and said softly to the invisible undercurrent in front of him. Hee, flood dragon, I don't think you've figured it out. With my strength, do you think this little undercurrent will work on me? Level 3 incineration, wind's extremity, meteorite. With a boom, a formless sword chi shot out from Linley's hand. Using spiritual energy as a sword, it shot out at an extreme speed. With a boom, the undercurrent and Linley's level 3 incineration, wind of extremity, collided with each other. Instantly, the seawater began to churn violently, and the seawater began to swirl in all directions. The attack was so powerful that the WYRM's body was blown hundreds of meters away uncontrollably by the waves. Linley, who had unleashed his cultivation base, pushed the waves away and didn't cause any damage to the WYRM. Human, I didn't misjudge you. You are indeed a respectable opponent. However, unfortunately, this is my main battlefield. So, accept reality. At this moment, the flood dragon that was blown 100 meters away by the seawater came back to its senses and roared at Lin Rei. Its tone was full of arrogance as it rushed towards Lin Rei. Alas! It seems that you haven't realized that for me, there is no difference at all. However, I really want to know that it wasn't you who made me feel a sense of danger just now, and it wasn't you who dragged me in. I'm very curious about what kind of creature could order you around. After seeing the flood dragon's movements, Lin Rei could feel that the flood dragon in front of him didn't have the sense of danger he had felt before. Moreover, with its size, it wasn't something that had dragged him in. The atmosphere began to become awkward. After hearing Lin Rei's words, the flood dragon stopped its huge body. Tell me, what kind of monster dragged me in? I know that you, a monster at the peak of the crossing calamity stage, don't have this ability. Moreover, how many moves do you think you can take from me? Dandan, let's start with that move just now. I only used 30% of my power. If I hit you with all my power, do you think you can still stand in front of me and shout? At this moment, Lin Rei said to the flood dragon with disdain. The look in his eyes was different from before. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at the flood dragon seriously as if he was looking at an ant. It was incomparably cold. You. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the flood dragon was terrified. When it thought that Lin Rei only used 30% of his power, it trembled all over. You. How can you have such a powerful cultivation? Your cultivation is obviously lower than mine. Why are you so strong? At this moment, the flood dragon still didn't have the arrogance it had before. At this moment it was like a curious baby, constantly asking Lin Rei questions it didn't understand. Well, let's not talk nonsense. I don't need to tell you about this matter. Now I just want to know who made you drag me here. Moreover, since he dared to call me here, why did he close the door and only send a little guy like you to confront me? At this moment, after hearing the flood dragon's words, Lin Rei confirmed his previous judgment. He had already guessed that it was indeed someone else who attracted him here. And this person was very powerful. Since he could subdue the flood dragon, who had always been proud of himself, this person's strength must be so strong that the flood dragon was willing to submit to him. You guessed right. I didn't bring you here. However, I can't tell you who it was because I don't have that kind of strength. So, the next thing you have to rely on yourself. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you more because my strength is limited. At this moment, when Lin Rei heard the flood dragon's words, he was still doubtful. Suddenly, he found that the flood dragon's eyes didn't have any trace of lying expression. So, Lin Rei believed it. You. Why are you telling me this? Although I asked you to tell me this, I feel that even if you don't want to say it, you won't submit even if I use force. Why are you telling me this now? I don't understand. With a whoosh, the flood dragon quickly turned around and swam towards the depths of the sea. But before it left, a melodious voice came into Lin Rei's ears. Suddenly, Lin Rei's eyes showed a look of night. It's not because of your cultivation. It's because you give me a very good feeling. This is the first time I have this kind of feeling towards a human. Not only that, you are a human who makes me feel pressured. I believe that we will meet again in the future. At that time, you may not necessarily be powerful. The voice slowly disappeared until finally, the flood dragon's figure disappeared along with the voice. The bottom of the sea had returned to its usual quiet, mysterious, and pitch-black state. There was no one here, other than the fish and other enormous creatures. However, when they sensed Linley's cultivation base and killing intent, they all fled. Not a single creature was able to get close to him. This is interesting. I hope we can meet again in the future. Maybe I will accept you into the Xuanzong Sect then. Looking at the place where the flood dragon disappeared, Linley said with a smile on his face. Alas. Forget it, I'd better hurry up and find it. If the flood dragon can be his vanguard, this creature must be at the Mahayana realm or the earthly immortal realm. If so, it will be really fun. It seems that there are still things in this space that I am interested in. After saying that, Lin Rei held the Martial Emperor Divine Spear and swam towards the bottom of the sea. 1 step, 2 steps. Each step covered a distance of 1,000 meters. Soon, the temperature around Lin Rei dropped to a certain level again. Ice started to form on the Martial Emperor Divine Spear. Woo, woo. The sound seemed to come from the depths of the dark sea. It was as if a chilly wind was blowing. At this moment, Lin Rei felt a sense of crisis. However, he frowned as if he had thought of something bad. What's going on? What kind of demonic beast can control so many powerful demonic beasts? This phenomenon has never happened even in the mysterious Sky Continent. Why would it appear here? It turned out that when Linley felt the power, he originally thought that it was the power of the demonic beast from before. In the end, Linley came to the conclusion that this feeling was far inferior to the power of the demonic beast from before. But for better or for worse, it was still a demonic beast that could make him feel its power. Linley didn't dare to be careless. In his dictionary, no matter who it was, as long as they were his enemy, regardless of their level of cultivation, he had to treat them with 120% of his attention. At this moment, Lin Rei, who felt the power, was fully alert. He stared at the dark depths of the sea, where a sense of crisis was faintly emerging. Awoo. Awoo, what? Flood dragon? Damn it, is this the nest of the flood dragons? Hearing the roar, the first thought that came to Lin Rei's mind was the flood dragons. He even thought of the place where the flood dragons lived. Human, don't panic. This is not the place where the flood dragons gather. Moreover, do you think you have a place where we live? At this moment, a woman's voice came from the dark place. Not long after, a huge flood dragon had appeared. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with helplessness. I say, this lady, by the way, what's your name? Long Row. Hearing the question of the human in front of it, the flood dragon said its name without any concealment. Oh, Long Row, you're not the family of the flood dragon that just left, are you? Lin Rei thought of a possibility and then asked tentatively. However, Lin Rei hoped that was not the case. However, the results were often unexpected. Oh, looks like you haven't forgotten. That's right, I am the mother of the flood dragon that just left. Why, are you sexist again? Damn it, it's true. After hearing the answer that he did not want to hear, Lin Rei could not help but swear. His face was filled with helplessness. Are you the next stage that the flood dragon was talking about? Lin Rei wanted to immediately rush up and fight with it, but if he fought wrongly, it would be embarrassing. Not only that, he would have another enemy for no reason. This kind of losing deal, Lin Rei was determined to not do it. That's right. So, now, immediately, pick up the weapon in your hand and fight. Only by defeating me can you enter the next stage. However, I believe that you are not really that powerful. Just now, my son told me that you were very powerful and could defeat him in the middle stage of the crossing calamity stage. This surprised me, but I will not let you go because of this. After saying that, the figure of the flood dragon's mother completely appeared in front of Lin Rei. This flood dragon was several times bigger than before. Every scale was shining with a cold light. Ao. With a roar, Long Row's huge flood dragon tail directly swept towards Lin Rei. Under the pressure of a huge amount of seawater, it could still move so fast. Only the creatures of the sea could do this. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei was not careless. He directly blocked in front of him with the Martial Emperor Divine Spear and directly collided with the flood dragon tail. Chapter 210. Bang! Although Lin Rei was deep in the sea, the sound of the collision was still loud and clear. After Lin Rei collided with the tail of the flood dragon, he was thrown far away. After that, Lin Rei managed to stop his body from being thrown out. At this moment, Lin Rei was shocked, but at the same time, he was more excited. He was happy to have such an opponent, but at the same time, he was surprised that the flood dragon in front of him was so powerful. Well, since you've made your move, don't blame me. Let's have a good fight. At this time, Lin Rei stopped and looked at the flood dragon in front of him with blazing eyes. In the next moment, Lin Rei's body moved instantly, without any hindrance from the sea. Silent thunder, sovereign descends. In an instant, Lin Rei came to the flood dragon's side and used the Martial Emperor Divine Spear. He directly used the first martial skill, which was his most handy set. In an instant, Lin Rei's spiritual energy gathered on the Martial Emperor Divine Spear. The whole spear shaft was crackling with thunder and lightning, and the tip of the spear was shining with a little cold light, giving people a sense of danger. In the next moment, when Lin Rei appeared again, he had already been tricked by the flood dragon. The Martial Emperor Divine Spear with thunder and lightning was directly aimed at the center of the flood dragon's body. Bang! Puff! Lin Rei's spear pierced into the flood dragon's body without any hindrance or obstruction. Suddenly, blood flowed out from Lin Rei's Martial Emperor Divine Spear, dyeing the surrounding seawater red. At this moment, the bright red seawater was wrapped around Lin Rei. A strange and demonic feeling was emitted from Lin Rei's body. At this time, the the Martial Emperor Divine Spear had been pulled out from the Flood Dragon's body. Ow, ow, ow. Painful roars came from the Flood Dragon's mouth, which was injured by Lin Rei. Its body kept rolling in the sea water in pain. Under the Flood Dragon's action, there was already an undercurrent in the sea water. Suddenly, a storm was formed in the sea water. Woo woo, a humming sound came from the vortex created by the Flood Dragon. Suddenly, the suction force became stronger. Some of the fish and other creatures that lived in the deep sea were directly sucked into the vortex. Not long after, a huge amount of blood flowed out of the whirlpool. Needless to say, it was the blood of those creatures. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't have the time to look at this. At this moment, Lin Rei's eyes were fixed on Flood Dragon Long Ro. He wanted to see what Long Ro would do next. Would she use her full strength to fight him? Aoo, human, I didn't expect you to have such strength. No wonder my son admires you so much. However, this doesn't mean that you can hurt me. So, when you hurt me, you should be prepared for my revenge. At this moment, the Flood Dragon Long Ro seemed to be fine. At first glance, the bleeding muzzle was no longer bleeding. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei understood that this was just the beginning. What came next was the main event. Aoo. In the next moment, the Flood Dragon Long Ro used the battlefield in the water to directly appear in front of Lin Rei at the fastest speed possible. However, Long Ro seemed to have forgotten that no matter how fast he couldn't escape from his huge body. Long Ro's enormous body shot forward at an extremely fast speed. The surrounding seawater, under Long Ro's speed, formed a terrifying wave of water pressure that swept towards Linley. Aoo. Long Ro opened her bloody mouth and directly swallowed Lin Rei. The surrounding water also flowed into Long Ro's mouth. Today, I'll let you know what the gap is and what the advantage is. At this moment, after seeing Long Ro's action, Lin Rei also moved. He raised the Martial Emperor Divine Spear in his hand and circulated his spiritual energy. Thunder and lightning crackled, which was terrifying. Even the seawater that came in contact with the Martial Emperor Divine Spear was boiling because of Lin Rei's Martial Emperor Divine Spear. Silent Thunder Spear, Destructive Thunder Thrust, Charge. The Silent Thunder martial technique was launched. The Martial Emperor Divine Spear, which carried a monstrous killing intent, rushed towards Long Ro. Boom! After the Flood Dragon and Lin Rei's Martial Emperor Divine Spear collided, the seawater was directly split into two. With Lin Rei and the Flood Dragon as the center, the seawater was split into two. Suddenly, a wave of several feet high appeared. It was rare to see at the bottom of the sea, but it was also a disaster for the creatures living in the sea. The wave took shape and swept in all directions. Lin Rei and the Flood Dragon were fine, but the creatures living in the surrounding area were really miserable. After the wave, the creatures living in peace were brought to a terrifying place that they did not know. Even the scenery here was swept away by the wave and became a rare ruin at the bottom of the sea. However, the Flood Dragon and Lin Rei, who collided, were evenly matched. Their attacks were equally matched. No one knew whether they were conserving their strength or something else. At this moment, Linley's Martial Emperor Divine Spear, which he had used a martial technique, was stuck in the lower jaw of the Flood Dragon. Blood was flowing out slowly, and the Flood Dragon was glaring at Linley furiously, as if it wanted to eat Linley alive. "Oh, I didn't expect you to be so durable. You made me use my Martial Emperor Divine Spear, but it only hurt you a little. If your scales can be refined into a magic weapon by a blacksmith, it must be something amazing." Linley looked at the blood flowing out, but didn't pay it any mind. After all, it wasn't his blood. But when he saw the broken scales in the blanket, a pained expression appeared on Linley's face. With a look of pity, he stroked the scales a little with one hand. Human, the dignity of the Flood Dragon clan cannot be blasphemed by a despicable human like you. You've made me bleed time and time again. Even if you're the person it wants, it's useless. Today, I'll bury you at the bottom of the ocean. At this moment, the flood dragon Long Ro seemed to be really angry. After struggling to break free from Lin Rei's restraint, the flood dragon said to Lin Rei with anger and killing intent. Aoo. Aoo. The flood dragon faced the sky and roared. After it finished speaking to Lin Rei, it lifted its huge head and roared towards the bottom of the sea. Seeing this, even a fool would know that the flood dragon's actions meant that it could not win, so it wanted to call for reinforcements. Damn, can you still do it? In any case, you are still a giant under the sea. You can't help but call for reinforcements, don't you feel embarrassed? Do you still have any sense of shame? At this moment, Linley had no choice but to be cautious. Even if 2 flood dragons came, it would be fine. What Linley was most afraid of now was that this flood dragon called Long Ro in front of him would summon all the flood dragons in her clan. If that happened, even if Linley could kill enemies above his level, he would not be able to negotiate. As the saying goes, if one's wish comes true, then one should not carelessly think about it. This was good, Lin Rei's thoughts really worked. Just as Lin Rei finished thinking, waves of angry roars came from the bottom of the sea. Aoo. Aoo. Motherfucker, how many flood dragons are there? Under Lin Rei's perception, good heavens, this was the existence of an entire clan. When Lin Rei heard the roars of the flood dragons, he didn't hesitate to release his divine sense and extended it into the darkness. The result was that Lin Rei couldn't believe it. Nearly 100 flood dragons drilled out from the darkness and all of them angrily rushed towards Long Ro's direction. Motherfucker, this is the rhythm of playing with me to death, ah. I just beat the young one, and the old one came out. Motherfucker, this can't go on forever. Plus, she is not a young one, is there a need to mobilize all of the clan's members? At this moment, Lin Rei's face revealed an unhappy expression, but he didn't seem to be afraid of facing a formidable enemy. Instead, the excitement in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. At this moment, the blood in his body had awakened and began to boil. His body tensed up involuntarily and was ready for battle. Humph, boy, don't blame me for not telling you. This time, you asked for it. Originally, I agreed to its request to guard it, but I didn't expect that it would choose you. But of all people, you beat my son away and even hurt me again and again. So now, the oath contract is invalid. Just wait for the revenge of my entire Flood Dragon clan. Hearing Long Ro's words, Lin Rei revealed a disdainful expression. The murderous look in his eyes was completely stimulated at this moment. Ha! Ha 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 ha! A loud laughter sounded from Lin Rei's mouth. His voice became louder and louder, and within 1,000 meters, Lin Rei's laughter could be heard. His voice was full of disdain and excitement. Ha, Long Ro, since you've said it, then don't blame me for being rude. Originally, I wanted to subdue all of you in the future and make you into my Sect's guardian beast. But now, it seems impossible. The only way now is to annihilate all of you. What I hate the most is a force that can threaten and annoy me. Obviously, all of you are already one, so don't blame me for what happens next. Just as Lin Rei spoke, nearly 100 flood dragons appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes. The densely packed flood dragons made one feel breathless and numb. But in front of Lin Rei, this was a group of enemies that gave him pleasure. Of course, he originally had the chance to become friends with them. Humph, ignorant boy. My flood dragon clan has nearly 100 of them. How can you say that you can kill them as you wish? Why don't you take a look at your cultivation base? Stop boasting so shamelessly. At this moment, among the flood dragons, the one with the most authority swam out and spoke to Lin Rei. Its eyes were full of contempt and its tone was full of disdain. Chapter 211. Alright, since you've said so, then I'll boast shamelessly for you to see. I'll let you know that there's always someone better than you. I'll let you bunch of frogs at the bottom of the sea see what it means to be strong in your little place. At this moment, Lin Rei was completely enraged after hearing the flood dragon's words. At this moment, he did not care who was behind them or how powerful they were. At this moment, Lin Rei only had one thought, and that was to teach the flood dragon tribe a lesson. However, if they did not repent, then it was possible for their entire tribe to be exterminated. Swoosh! After Lin Li finished speaking, he directly disappeared on the spot with the martial emperor godly spear in his hand. In this space, only the sound of the seawater breaking could be heard, and Lin Li's figure could not be seen at all. Oh no, everyone, be alert. That human's cultivation cannot be underestimated. Everyone, be careful. He can appear next to us at any time. At this time, the flood dragon that was busy scolding Lin Rei turned around and warned the 5 of them after seeing Lin Rei disappear. Its tone was full of seriousness. Oh, do you think this is enough to stop me? In this world, there are 2 kinds of people who can stop me. One is people who are much stronger than me, Lin Rei. Of course, these people will die in my hands in the end. The second kind is people who are already giants, but these kinds of people will not provoke me. Even if they do, as long as I am alive, I will make them die in my hands one day. At this moment, after hearing the flood dragon's command, Lin Rei smiled disdainfully. Then, he said what he wanted to say to them. Of course, if it had to be said, it could be considered a threat or a spiritual attack. The voice was ethereal and difficult to understand. Even the flood dragons who had always lived in the sea could not tell where Lin Rei's voice came from. Obviously, none of you are qualified to be my enemy. However, those who can make me go all out are all earthly immortals and above. Of course, earthly immortals are no longer effective against me. Lin Rei's voice rang out once more. The moment he said this, everyone in the flood dragon tribe started to panic. Poof! Lin Rei's martial emperor godly spear pierced through Long Ro's head without any hesitation. Blood trickled down from the flood dragon's head, dyeing the seawater red. At this time, Lin Rei, who was in the middle of the blood, looked extremely demonic. Coupled with the murderous expression on his face, all the flood dragons were stunned. Slowly, her life force disappeared bit by bit. In the end, all the blood in Long Ro's body was drained. Her body had shriveled up to a certain degree. But even so, Lin Li didn't dislike her. She was stored away in a storage ring that had been unused for a long time. After finishing his task, Lin Rei left the place stained with blood and came to a clean place in the distance. He squinted and looked at the crowd with a smile. The blood on the martial emperor godly spear had been washed away by the seawater. At this moment, the tip of the spear was flashing with a cold light. After a while, the flood dragons came back to their senses. When they recalled that their clansmen had been killed, they all looked at Lin Li with anger. They had the urge to rush up and tear him to pieces. Only then would they be able to vent the anger in their hearts. Human, you actually treated my tribesmen like this. Today, even if my tribe is exterminated, I will make you pay a painful price. When the flood dragon who had the right to speak saw that his tribesmen had died in front of him, his bestial consciousness was awakened. His eyes, which were originally clear, became extremely red, making people feel scared. Tribesmen, this human in front of us killed our tribesmen. What do you think we should do? At this time, the flood dragon who had the right to speak asked the tribesmen behind him. Revenge, revenge, we must kill this human and avenge our dead tribesmen. The same words came out from the mouths of all the members of the flood dragon tribe. Their voices were incomparably deep, and the surrounding seawater was really pushed away. However, it was impossible for there to be no water in the deep sea. Soon, the seawater that had been shaken away returned to its original position. After speaking, the flood dragons moved. With strong water pressure and spiritual power, they rushed toward Lin Rei with great momentum. This kind of formation was not bad in Lin Rei's eyes. However, in the eyes of the other cultivators, it was simply a disaster. At this moment, looking at the flood dragons rushing over, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with excitement, and the martial emperor divine spear in his hand had reached a terrifying level. Ha ha ha. Come on. All of you, come on. Looking at the flood dragons, Lin Rei laughed and waved the martial emperor divine spear in his hand. In the next moment, Lin Rei directly disappeared. The flood dragons who rushed over were all stunned. They did not see Lin Rei's figure. At this moment, all the flood dragons panicked. The momentum of avenging their tribesmen had disappeared when Lin Rei disappeared. Humph, you want to use the same move to kill my tribesmen? In that case, don't blame us for bullying you with numbers. At this moment, the flood dragon who had taken away the right to speak said to the flood dragons behind him with a ruthless expression. Fellow clansmen, use all your strength and your cultivation to roar towards the sky. Your voice will move the seawater of the entire deep sea. Make sure that human has nowhere to hide. At this moment, hearing the leading flood dragon's words, all the flood dragons came back to their senses. Then, they all roared into the sky in understanding. Roar. Roar. The sound was loud and vigorous. As the flood dragons roared in unison, the seawater also changed. In the end, the seawater with the flood dragons as the center swept out in all directions. Slowly, the commotion became louder and louder. The roars of the flood dragons were so loud that even in the deep sea, the roars of 100 flood dragons could be heard even from the depths of the sea. At this moment, in the center of the Pacific Ocean, a whirlpool slowly formed. 100 meters, 300 meters, 500 meters. In the end, it formed into a whirlpool of more than 2,000 meters. Not only that, but there were also bursts of roaring sounds. This phenomenon directly attracted the attention of the satellites launched by various countries in space. They observed this scene and transmitted it to the computers of the various countries' information departments. After receiving this information, the information departments immediately reported it to the departments in charge of such matters in their countries. As the initiator of all this, Lin Rei had no idea that because of this incident, all the countries in the world began to search for him. They began to travel as fast as they could to the place where the vortex occurred. They all thought that this phenomenon was a sign of the appearance of a rare treasure. However, they did not know that at this moment, there was a world-class battle going on. In the deep sea, Lin Rei was roaring. He had nowhere to hide and could only appear in the eyes of the flood dragons. But even so, there was no light of fear in Lin Rei's eyes. Humph, in that case, let's have a massacre. Today, I will make your flood dragon family disappear from this sea completely. At this moment, Lin Rei had gone crazy. He did not care anymore. There was only one word in Lin Rei's mind at this moment, and that was to kill. A bloody word appeared in his mind and occupied Lin Rei's mind. Level 3 Incineration, Wind of the Extreme, Meteorite Kill. With a loud roar, the first skill of the third rank incineration was activated. Using the spear as a weapon, spiritual chi was contained within it. It pierced toward the flood dragons, bringing with it an unparalleled might. This powerful skill directly split the water in the middle. Puff, puff, puff. Lin Rei's attack was so sudden and fast that the hundreds of flood dragons did not have time to react. They were directly pierced by Lin Rei's skill and died. Originally, there had been 100 flood dragons, but after Lin Lei's first wave of attacks, more than 10 of them had perished. Even in death, they didn't know how they had died. At the same time, when the flood dragon clan saw their clansmen die without any hesitation or resistance, they were extremely terrified of this human. As for the leading flood dragon, its eyes were filled with terror as it stared at Lin Lei. Its heart was filled with fear. Why, did I ask you a question? Human, how can you be so strong? You're just a cultivator in the tribulation stage. How can you be so strong? The leader of the flood dragons, who were terrified, could not help but ask. His voice was trembling, and his huge body was trembling non-stop. Humph, such an attitude won't work anymore. Since I've already said that I'll destroy all the dragons in this area, I'll definitely do it. At this moment, Lin Rei smiled indifferently after hearing the monitor's words with bloodthirsty eyes. Dian Wei, Bai Qi, Tian Yun, Ming, Bing, Shua Wushuang. Dan Yunzi, Bai Yu, all the members of the dark group, come out. As Lin Li finished speaking to the flood dragons, he began to mumble many names to himself. This scene caused the flood dragons to be completely stupefied. Of course, in the next moment, all the Jiao dragons were dumbfounded. They stared in Lin Li's direction, their eyes filled with disbelief and fear. Suddenly, thousands of people appeared behind Lin Li. Each of them had an aura that was many times more powerful than theirs. Of course, what shocked the flood dragons the most was that when they saw the next scene, they even had the thought of dying. Although their eyes were filled with doubt as to why they had appeared here, when they saw Lin Li, all of them returned from the depths of the sea to Lin Li and called out in unison in a loud, high-pitched voice. We, the elders, protectors, disciples, of the Xuanzong sect, pay our respects to the sect master. We hope that the sect master will live forever. Chapter 212. Meanwhile, the crowd of cultivators instantly appeared on the spot and bowed toward the young man. Their faces were filled with admiration and admiration. Not only that, but the moment this group of people appeared, all the sea creatures with cultivation in the entire sea region began to panic and flee in all directions. The disciples of Xian's sect who were released did not hide their cultivation. The weakest among them was at the combination realm. Even an earthly immortal expert would not dare to guarantee that he could do anything to them when thousands of them came out together. What's more, the flood dragons were not as numerous as they were and their cultivation was not as strong as theirs. Well, since you've come out, don't go back. Today, I called you out to order you to kill all the flood dragons in this Qianhai Sea. Secondly, there's an expert in this sea area that I feel is dangerous. Find him and inform me. Looking at the disciples who were summoned from the blanket, Lin Rei was very excited. With so many cultivators, they should be a powerful force even in the upper world. Although their strength wasn't high, it was nothing in Lin Rei's world. Yes, we'll follow your order, sect master. The disciples of the Xuanzong sect who were kneeling on the ground moved out in an instant. In an instant, thousands of people disappeared, leaving only Dian Wei, Bai Qi, Tianyun, Ming, Bing, and a few others. It's been hard on you guys for the past few days. From now on, there's no need for you guys to stay in there anymore. From now on, we're going to carve out a world that belongs to Xuanzong in this boundless Hongmeng. Looking at the few people who stayed, Lin Rei no longer hid the wildness and ambition in his heart and said firmly to them. PFFF. PFFF. Hearing Lin Li's words, they all knelt on the ground. Their eyes were filled with determination as they said, we will definitely do everything we can to flatten those who stand in our way, young master. At this moment, the flood dragons who saw everything were dumbfounded. They were all dumbfounded. After sensing the cultivation of thousands of people, all the flood dragons were dumbfounded. They had never thought that the young man in front of them, who had been clamoring with them, could conjure so many experts out of thin air. What was even more unexpected was that the young man was the sect master. At this moment, they were afraid. Oh, no, not afraid. They were thinking of exchanging the lives of the flood dragons in the whole sea area for the lives of the dozens of people of their tribe. Say. Senior, we didn't know what was good for us. We're willing to exchange the lives of all the flood dragons in the sea area for the lives of the flood dragons in the first place. We're the cause of all this. We don't want the flood dragons to go extinct. At this moment, the leading flood dragon stepped forward and begged Lin Rei and the others with fear in his eyes. This was completely different from what he said before when he wanted to kill Lin Rei. Stand up, all of you. At this moment, Lin Rei, whose back was facing the flood dragons, hurriedly said to the people kneeling on the ground after hearing their words. Then, he turned around. Now you want to negotiate with me? Don't you think it's a little late? What have you been doing before? At this moment, Lin Rei's every word was full of killing intent. Every word was cold, and every word made the flood dragons and the others regret in their hearts. Yes, we know that we were the ones who started it first. However, Senior, please be merciful. There are nearly 10,000 flood dragons in this sea area. They have nothing to do with this matter. Therefore, Senior, please let them go. As long as it's your condition, we'll agree to anything, as long as it can save their lives. After the flood dragon finished speaking, Lin Rei's heart gradually calmed down, and the killing intent in his heart gradually disappeared. Oh. In that case, tell me about that matter with a smile. First, tell me, who lured me here, and why did you send people to surround me? That thing clearly knows that you can't beat me, so why did it still come? At this moment, Lin Rei asked the question that had been in his heart. Ever since he entered this place, Lin Rei had been doubtful. He had not been back for long and had not offended many people. Moreover, most of them were ordinary people. This was the first time he encountered such a powerful enemy. At this moment, the flood dragon who heard Lin Rei's condition revealed a difficult expression. Fear also appeared in its eyes. Its mouth squirmed a few times, and when it was about to speak, it thought of something and retracted its mouth. Senior, it's not that we don't want to tell you. It's just that he told us that you have to find out about this matter yourself. We can't tell you. If we tell you, our flood dragon tribe will not be able to survive. The flood dragon was in a difficult position for a long time, so it directly said these few words. However, Lin Rei could see that the flood dragon leader's body was violently trembling. It seemed that if it said it, the flood dragon tribe would really be wiped out. At this moment, Lin Li knew that there was nothing he could do even if he continued to ask. If he insisted, he could get the answer out of them. However, their lives would disappear along with it. This was not the result Lin Li wanted. Well, since you don't want to talk about this matter, then let's change the price. I want all of your flood dragon tribe to join the Xuanzong Sect and become members of the Beast Department of the Xuanzong Sect. They will be mounts for the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect. At noon, Lin Rei revealed his plan. On the surface, his face was incomparably cold, but in his heart, he was so happy that he could not speak. If these talented flood dragons join the Xuanzong Sect, then the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect will be so cool when they go out. Ah! A cry of surprise came out of the flood dragon's mouth. It looked at Lin Rei with a bad look. What? You're still not willing? I have tens of thousands of disciples. The cultivation of half of them is stronger than the cultivation of your tribe. Do you think this is a disgrace to your flood dragon tribe? Lin Rei, who was originally in a state of mind, came back to his senses when he heard the flood dragon's questioning voice. The excitement in his heart disappeared, and he asked the flood dragon with a frown. At this moment, not only the flood dragon leader, but also the tribe members behind him started to question. This scene confused Lin Rei. No. Senior, it's just that we never thought that you would let us go, so we can't get used to it for a while. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the flood dragon leader came back to his senses. His face was full of worry as he replied respectfully. Oh, please don't say anything about this. This matter is settled. As he spoke, Lin Rei led Bai Qi and the others behind him to the flood dragon's side. Then, he took out the number of elixirs from his pocket, wrapped them with spiritual energy, and handed them to the flood dragons. Eat it. As long as you eat it, in the future, you will be a member of the Beast Department of the Xuanzong Sect. Not only that, I will let the real dragon check on you and purify the blood in your body. In this way, your progress will be limitless. At this moment, Lin Li was very relaxed. In this place, unless there was an existence at the peak of the earthly immortal realm, if they were to provoke Lin Li, there would only be one outcome, and that was to be crushed to death by Lin Li. Gulp. All the flood dragons present did not hesitate and directly used their tongues to roll the elixirs in front of them into their stomachs. The elixirs melted in their mouths. Even if they wanted to hide it, it was impossible. As long as the elixirs entered their mouths, the spiritual energy wrapped around them would crush the elixirs and turn them into powder. They could not hide it even if they wanted to. Ha ha ha, good. Since you want it after eating, in the future, you will be a member of the Beast Department of the Xuanzong Sect. In the future, your duty is to let the disciples of the other departments ride on you. Of course, your cultivation must not fall behind. In the future, you will fight side by side. At this moment, Lin Rei was very happy. This group of flood dragons would be the main generals in the future. With them, the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect would be like tigers that had grown wings. As the master of the Xuanzong Sect, there was nothing he could do for the flood dragons. The only thing he could do was to make them stronger and to find more cultivation resources for them outside. Dian Wei, go and inform them not to kill the flood dragons. Let them tame them directly. In this way, the flood dragons will belong to them in the future. However, when they return to the real Xuanzong Sect, they will still be under the management of the Beast Department. At this moment, Lin Rei hurriedly turned his head and gave the order to Dian Wei, who had been standing next to him. Yes, your subordinate obeys. After receiving the order, Dian Wei's body began to fade from everyone's sight instantly. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled but did not say much. Well, this is the end of it. The most important thing now is to find the thing that gives me a sense of danger. I'd like to see what it is exactly. As he said that, the flood dragons all followed him, while Bai Qi and the others followed Lin Rei to the deeper part of the sea as if they were protecting him. Lin Rei walked deeper into the sea with Lin Rei. Lin Rei was quite agitated when he said that, as if he had passed through 5 obstacles and slain 6 generals. It was all dark around him. There was no telling how many days had passed in the outside world in the depths of the sea. At this moment, on the street of a foreign country, a man who was not dressed fashionably but was very elegant was standing on the street. On the street, he looked around at the ancient buildings that he had never seen before and couldn't help but sigh in amazement. It's really not bad. I didn't expect the things here to be so beautiful. This place is much more beautiful than the place where I lived before. The man was none other than one of the young men who had been reprimanded by Lin Rei. 2 days had passed, and the young man had come here on the morning of the 2nd day. Here, the young man was not in a hurry to do anything, but wandered around instead. Alas! Brother Lei, how are you doing now? Do you know that every moment, every minute, and every second here is a kind of pride for me? If I didn't have to follow you here, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Now, the men on the streets felt incredibly guilty. Their faces were filled with dejection as they looked at everything around them. Forget it, since Brother Lei said that he is always here, then he is always here. After all, Brother Lei still has the Cloud Tower. There are countless powerhouses inside, so he should be fine. I should first complete the task Brother Lei gave me. After thinking it through, the depressed expression on the young man's face disappeared. In the blink of an eye, he was full of energy. After coming here for a few days, the young man had learned a lot. In the business center here, there were 2 consortiums ranked 4th and 5th in the world, the Mandala Consortium and the Dillendorf Consortium. These 2 consortiums had always been in a state of discord. Therefore, it was precisely because of this that the young man chose them. If they were already so powerful when they were at odds, how powerful would they be if they merged? After talking for a few days, the young man removed his divine sense and arrived at the entrance of a financial group. He cast an invisibility spell on himself and then directly went to the top of the financial group's headquarters. He was very fast, and this distance was nothing for the young man who had a divine clone. Soon, the young man reached the top and slowly started searching according to the situation in his divine sense. For a young man who was proficient in various languages, finding a person wasn't a problem. At this time, a target appeared among the young man's targets. In front of the door of a room hung a sign saying, "Take away Mandala's chairman." The sign was written in English. "Hee, I found you. Come baby, I'll make you obediently become a substitute for my Xuanzong sect." You'll become a valuable chess piece of my Xuanzong sect. With that, Dong Xiaonan arrived at the chairman's office with a smile on her face. She pushed open the door and walked in, only to see an old man sitting on a chair with a pen in his hand. He was drawing on a piece of paper non-stop, and he didn't even notice the arrival of the young man. Damn, what's going on? How can you owe me something like this? Do you really think that my money grows on trees? At this moment, just as the young man approached the old man suddenly threw the pen in his hand away and cursed at the air with a burst of vulgarities. Hello. Swish. The young man raised his head and directly removed the invisibility spell on his body, revealing his body, and jokingly greeted the old man. Plop. The young man's greeting directly scared the old man to the ground. Ah. Fuck. After a long time, the old man got up from the ground with a horrified expression. He looked at the young man sitting on the sofa next to him with a suspicious gaze and asked in fluent English. You, who are you? What happened just now? At this time, the old man really couldn't believe that when the young man in front of him appeared, he was already presbyopic and asked with a suspicious tone. Ah. I don't want to talk nonsense here. My purpose of coming here is to borrow your company. I wonder if you agree with me on this matter? Chapter 213. What? At this moment, the old man thought he didn't hear clearly, so he asked again in doubt. I said, I've taken a liking to your financial group. I want to use it for a few years. After a few years, if you still want it, I'll return it to you unconditionally. What do you think? The young man patiently stated the purpose of his visit again after he heard the words watch out. Ha 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 ha. A hearty laugh came from the old man's mouth. His voice was deep and didn't sound like the symptoms of old age at all. Young man. Although I don't know how you came here, don't you think it's a little funny that you want all the family assets that I've worked hard for generations? The old man smiled and held the pen in his hand as if he was working. However, at this moment, when the old man wasn't paying attention, the young man suddenly pointed his middle finger at the old man. A trace of weak spiritual energy directly pointed at the old man. At the next moment, the hand that was holding the pen stopped in the air and was no longer under the old man's control. No, no, no. Sir, I'm not here to discuss with you. I'm only here to inform you. In fact, it doesn't matter whether you agree or not. I have plenty of ways to make you agree. Seeing the old man's expression, the young man knew that it was his doing. You. How did you do it? Why can't my hand move? At this moment, he looked at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him with a trembling voice. Oh, right, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Dong Xiaonan and I'm from China. As for my purpose, I think I've already told you. I'm here for your financial group. Not only yours, but also other financial groups. In the future, they will all merge with this financial group. With that, the young man walked step by step to the old man's side and sat on the table. He grabbed the old man's neck with one hand and said in a cold tone. Killing you is simply too easy. Besides, I won't kill you. What I want is the strength of your financial group. But don't worry, I won't use it for nothing. I'll let you taste the feeling of a long life, just like me. The current me can live for a time that you can't even imagine. As he spoke, the young man didn't waste any more words. He directly pried open the old man's mouth and stuffed a mind control pill that Lin Ray had given him into his mouth. The pill melted in his mouth and was immediately digested by the old man. The effect of this mind control pill wasn't just to control cultivators and humans. It could also increase the lifespan of ordinary people. After delivering the neck, the man returned to the sofa not far away. The only thing he had to do now was to wait for the drug to take effect. Then, everything would be fine. Time passed quickly. 5 minutes later, the man who was originally sitting on the chair stood up. He walked to the front of the young man, knelt on the ground, and kowtowed to him. Subordinate John Latu greets master. The young man had known about this for a long time, so he wasn't surprised at all when he saw the old man named John kneeling in front of him. Yes. Stand up. But don't call me master in the future. I'm just doing things for others. The real master is someone else. In the future, when there is no one else, call me elder. When there is someone else, just call me Mr. Male. After explaining the rules to John, he returned to his previous seriousness. I have told you about the matter this time. During this period of time, you should hurry up and prepare to transfer the company's headquarters to Beijing, Wuxia. After that, I will go back to find you. However, the name of the company will be changed in the future. It will be called Jiutian Trading Company. Yes, subordinate will obey. John, who was now on the top, knelt on the ground and responded after hearing the young man's words. Well, you can go and give the order. I won't be coming for this period of time. See you in Beijing, Wuxia. After saying that, the young man cast a small invisibility spell on himself just like before and left the current Jiutian Trading Company. After that, the young man went to several consortiums. In the end, he controlled several consortiums in this way. Then, he changed the names of their companies to Jiutian Trading Company. On the street, the young man was now under a street lamp. He had lost his breath. His whole body was relaxed as he thought about today's results. For a moment, he laughed in his heart. I believe that after these consortiums left, Brother Lei's plan should be able to be implemented. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't know what the young man was thinking. Of course, if he knew, he would definitely be very happy. However, in these few days, something happened that Lin Rei and the young man didn't know. When Lin Rei and Long Ro were fighting, it caused a 1,000-meter whirlpool to appear in the Pacific Ocean. After being detected by the satellite, all the countries sent their most elite special departments to the place where the whirlpool appeared. Within a few days, several islands not far from the whirlpool were already filled with people. Whether it was a special department or not, the moment this news spread, no matter if it was a special department or not. In Wuxia, no matter if it was a top sect or a low-level sect, they all came here to see the treasure they imagined. At this moment, on an island, a kind old man came to the side of another old man and greeted him. Hey, old man, I didn't expect you to come here too. At this moment, as soon as they came up, they started to argue with each other. They looked like they couldn't believe it. F***ck, even your old long family is here. How can I be inferior to others? Besides, I didn't come. Who are you competing with? Ha ha ha. After the two of them finished talking, they looked at each other and then began to laugh heartily. It was as if they were brothers who hadn't seen each other for a long time. They directly hugged each other. Murong Chen, don't confuse me here. Don't think that I don't know your purpose of coming here. It is said that there is hope here. Everyone says that there is a 1,000-meter whirlpool. But why do I feel that I can feel a sense of power here? At this moment, while the two of them were talking, the group of juniors next to them heard it. Sigh. It can't be helped. Whether it is a treasure or not, this is the territory of Wuxia after all. If there is something that they don't want to give up, they won't be able to do anything to us. But if there really is a treasure, we can't let those foreign races have it. At this moment, the old man called Long Family's old master looked at the few non-Chinese people with a determined expression and said with a domineering look in his eyes. Ha ha ha. Long Badian, Long Badian. I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a few years, you're still the same old man. Don't worry. The country has attached great importance to this matter. Besides, all the old men in Wuxia are here. Are you still worried about those powerful foreign races? After hearing Long Baishan's words, although Murongchen said so, he looked around vigilantly, as if saying that if they rushed over, he would kill them all in Wuxia. Of course, the foreign races standing on the other islands had the same thought. Their thoughts were almost the same. No matter what treasure was in the sea, they must get it at all costs. However, what they didn't know was that at this moment, Linley, whom they regarded as a treasure, had still arrived at the deepest part of the sea. Here, Linley's eyebrows were frozen by the coldness of the depths, his eyelashes were covered in ice, and his mouth was ghastly pale. Lin Ray was completely unaware of all the movements on the shore. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't want to know. His only thought was to leave this place as soon as possible. Damn it, what the hell is going on? We're already at the bottom. Why haven't we seen that thing yet? At this moment, Lin Ray was crazy from the cold. The martial emperor godly spear in his hand began to move crazily at the bottom of the sea. Originally, there were more undercurrents at the bottom of the sea than in the middle of the sea, and there were more dangers. Under Lin Ray's action, the undercurrents turned into waterspouts and began to wreak havoc at the bottom of the sea. As for the thousands of disciples of the Xuanzong sect, they began to tame them quickly not long after Lin Ray asked Dian Wei to inform them. The next day, everyone followed Lin Ray with a flood dragon. Although the flood dragons varied in size, it was still a spectacular scene. As for the other flood dragons, Lin Ray agreed to throw them into the cloud tower and lock them up in a separate floor. When the waterspouts appeared, everything around the bottom of the sea was sucked in. Lin Ray and the thousands of disciples of the Xuanzong sect stood still in the same place. However, some of them looked calm, while others looked a little strained. As for the other cultivators, they were protected by the spiritual energy of the Mahayana realm cultivators to prevent them from being invaded by the chill at the bottom of the sea. Alright, everyone stay where you are and don't move. The leaders of the other tribes, go and look around to see if there are any mysterious experts or if there are any strange places. After giving the order to his subordinates, Lin Ray instantly released his divine sense and then flew towards the north. During the journey, no matter if it was a small fish or a small shrimp, they all escaped the detection of Lin Ray's divine sense. It was the same for the people sent out by Lin Ray. After flying for a long time, Lin Ray still didn't hear back from his subordinates. At this moment, Lin Ray knew that he didn't find the answer he wanted. With a disappointed expression, he stopped flying and landed on the bottom of the sea. Alas! What on earth is so mysterious that it can escape my divine sense? At this moment, Lin Ray stood still and belittled himself. Thump, thump, thump. When he stopped speaking or moving, Linley's 5 senses were stretched to their limits. Suddenly, a faint thumping sound, like the beating of a heart, reverberated in Linley's ears. Chapter 2:14. This heart-like sound attracted all of Linley's attention. How could such a sound appear for no reason at such a deep seabed? There must be something wrong. He closed his eyes and released his 5 senses to the extreme. Then, he followed the sound and walked in the direction of the sound. Thump thump thump, thump thump thump. Lin Ray, who had his eyes closed, did not know which direction he was heading in. The only thing he could perceive was that the heartbeat sound was getting louder and louder. Lin Ray performed the dragon-subduing step and followed the sound. He did not know how long he had walked or how many sentences he had spoken, but the sound stopped in his ears. His curiosity seemed to be close at hand. Right now, the sound wasn't as weak as it had been before. The thumping sound was strong and powerful, and even the slightest sound was loud and clear. Linley no longer needed to use his 5 senses. He could hear it just by using his ears. Let me see who you are. You can command all the creatures at the bottom of the sea and prevent them from betraying you. At this moment, Lin Ray's interest was greatly piqued. He had to see the source of the sound to see if it was the thing that had asked him to come. Following the sound, Lin Ray walked on foot, but his speed was also very fast. Each step covered several feet. Even so, Lin Ray had an illusion. It had been an hour since he could hear the sound with his ears. After such a long time, Lin Ray still had not reached the source. This made Lin Ray feel like he was hallucinating. Looking at the pitch-black surroundings, where there were no signs of living creatures, Lin Ray could not help but be vigilant. The martial emperor godly spear appeared in his hand in an instant. The spiritual power in his body began to circulate, ready to fight at any time. Little dragon, come out quickly. Let me see what is making me feel so pressured. At this time, Lin Rei thought of the little dragon in the system. Without hesitation, he shouted to the little dragon. Damn it, Lin Rei, how many times have I told you not to disturb me if there's nothing important? Although I'm not under the control of the system, I can't interfere with your cultivation too much. You're making it very difficult for me. Whoosh. Not long after Lin Rei shouted, the little dragon instantly transformed into the system and appeared in front of Lin Rei, glaring at Lin Rei in dissatisfaction. Where is this? The little dragon, who suddenly felt that something was amiss, turned his head and scanned the surrounding environment. He then turned back and asked Lin Rei in confusion. At this time, tens of thousands of meters under the sea, there is a cold and dark place. This is an underwater world full of killing and blood. Seeing the little dragon's appearance, Lin Rei didn't feel awkward at all. After all, this wasn't the first time. Then, he told the little dragon where they were now. What? Tens of thousands of meters under the sea. How did you come back here and release so many Xuanzong Sect disciples? At this time, the little dragon asked in confusion after scanning the surrounding environment with his spiritual sense in amazement. Spiritual sense was something that was used by the power of the soul. Although the little dragon wasn't a soul, the little dragon was a weapon spirit. Therefore, there was no problem with this. Sigh. I let them out to help me find the thing that made me feel danger. However, it doesn't seem that ideal. No one has reported to me yet. As he spoke, Lin Rei's gaze shifted from the little dragon to the surroundings, and then he became vigilant. What, a threat to you? Heh, impossible. How could it be here? Could you be mistaken? At this moment, the little dragon didn't want to believe Lin Rei's words no matter what. If he said that it was in the upper realm, then it was possible. However, if he said that it was here, even if he was beaten to death, he wouldn't believe it. Yes, you may not know, but I really overestimated myself before. Do you know, just now, I've subdued tens of thousands of flood dragons, and most of them have considerable cultivation strength. Therefore, I'm starting to be interested in this world. As he spoke, Lin Rei's face revealed a bloodthirsty expression. His tongue licked his lips involuntarily. This action added a hint of bloodthirst to the current Lin Rei. Oh. Hearing Lin Rei's words and all his actions at this time, the little dragon analyzed that this matter was most likely true. If that's the case, then you can have fun here. However, this has nothing to do with me. Don't tell me you called me out just to say this. If you have something to say it quickly. I still want to sleep. At this moment, after learning about this matter, the little dragon returned to its idle appearance and said to Lin Rei with a displeased expression. Heh, alright, I'll say it as soon as possible. Once I've finished speaking and thought of a way, you can go back to sleep. After speaking, Lin Rei told the little dragon about the sound and strange sound just now. After that, he fell silent and stared at the equally silent little dragon. TSK, this matter is not easy to handle. According to what you said, this might be a creature from the bottom of the sea, or some treasure that's about to appear in the world. So, let's leave it at that. Call me when you have further investigation. Whoosh. After speaking, the little dragon disappeared on the spot and returned to the system. You. Damn it, what the hell are you talking about? I already know what you said. Do I need you to tell me? At this moment, Lin Rei was very regretful. He regretted calling the little dragon out and being scolded by him. In the end, there was no answer. Damn it, I knew you were unreliable. In the end, Lin Rei had no choice but to go on his way. He held the martial emperor godly spear in one hand and scanned the surroundings vigilantly. Dong dong, dong dong. Dong dong. The sound was deafening at this moment. Lin Rei was very puzzled. What exactly was it that could make such a loud sound? After speaking to the little dragon, Lin Rei, who was on his way again, arrived at a place similar to the underwater mountains. There were mountains everywhere, but what puzzled him was that the deafening sound came from the mountains. What? Are you kidding me? What the hell do you mean? Don't tell me you want me to tear down the main mountain and find that thing. At this moment, Linley was grumbling as he looked up into the sky. His roar, which was laced with the power of his cultivation base, shook the heavens. Although they were at the bottom of the seawater also began to churn because of Linley's voice. Humph, that depends on whether you have the strength to do so. The sudden sound startled Linley. After all, anyone would be startled if a sound suddenly appeared in such a deep place at the bottom of the sea. Although Lin Rei was surprised by the sudden voice, he was still calm on the surface. There was no other expression on his face. He was as calm as ever. Who is it? Come out. The martial emperor divine spear was held horizontally in front of his chest. All the cultivation, physical strength, and the enhancement of the fairy weapon were released. At this moment, Lin Rei was very luxurious and noble. The majesty of an expert was fully displayed at this moment. He swept the area with his gaze, but to Linley's disappointment, no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find the body of the person who had spoken, or anything at all. Oh, little guy, you're very good. You came here alone and subdued a group of little flood dragons that I subdued. Good, I'm very happy. Rumble, rumble. An enormous sound rang out. The earth trembled, and the sea roiled. With Linley at the center, everything around him had changed. It had changed so thoroughly that it had become nothing more than rubble. But the only thing that did not change was the mountain that he saw when he came here. It stood tall and straight in front of Lin Rei. Humph, playing tricks. I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to know who you are and why you let them lead me here. At this moment, Lin Rei had too many questions, but he had to know if the other party wanted to answer them or not. Lin Rei just asked the most important question. At the same time that Xiaochen asked, he released his 5 senses to their limits. He wanted to see who was playing tricks on him. Everything within a radius of 10,000 li appeared in his 5 senses, not missing a single thing. Little brat, retract your 5 senses. You don't have to spend so much effort to find me. I'm right in front of you, aren't I? After that, the towering mountain in front of him changed. Halfway up the mountain, 3 holes appeared. In an instant, all the holes appeared. Hearing this, Linley turned to look up ahead. When he saw what was happening, he was speechless. Okay, since you're here, I'll cut to the chase. Why did you call me? What's the matter? He went straight to the point and did not beat around the bush. Well, it's very simple. First, I feel that you're very interesting. Second, I have a premonition that you can get me out, so I sent those disappointing things to invite you. In the end, they were not invited and were instead subdued by you. In one sentence, Lin Rei completely understood. It turned out that all these things were done to get him out. This reason made Lin Rei feel very helpless. Little dragon, come out. I found him. Take a look at him and see what he is. At this moment, Lin Rei was silent, but he did not want to remain silent on the surface. Instead, he asked the little dragon silently in his heart. After a long time, Lin Rei, who originally thought that the little dragon did not pay attention to him, was about to speak when he heard the little dragon's exclamation. Damn, no way. For such a creature to appear here, it's really invincible. The sudden words directly made Lin Rei furious. The words that came out of nowhere made Lin Rei very unhappy. Don't speak in riddles with me. Hurry up and tell me, what is this thing? Chapter 2:15. At this moment, Lin Rei was anxious in his heart. He really wanted to know what the real body of the stone in front of him was, but the little dragon was unhurriedly teasing his appetite, and even showed an infuriating look. Okay, don't be angry. I'll just tell you. Look at how anxious you are. Although he said so, his actual actions were still as slow as before, with a little impulse to speak out because of Lin Rei's anxiousness. Actually, it's normal that you don't know. The real body of the person talking to you is not a stone or a mountain rock. His real body has a great origin. Oh. Big brother, can I call you big brother? Hurry up and say it. Do you know how long you've been talking here? Listening to the little dragon's words, Lin Rei was anxious for him. If the little dragon was not a physical body, he believed that Lin Rei would be very willing to spank him. Humph. He snorted coldly, as if he was very dissatisfied with the attitude of Lin Rei's acquaintance, but in the end, he still said it. His real body is a pai xiu, and looking at the extent of his soul power, it should be a fierce beast from ancient times. It's just that I'm puzzled as to how it was trapped in the stone. It's really strange. Looking at the pai xiu trapped in the stone in front of him, the little dragon sighed, with a regretful expression on his face. What? You're saying that the speaker is a pai xiu that survived from ancient times? How is that possible? At this moment, Lin Rei's eyes were as big as Niu Ling's, and his mouth was opened so wide that an egg could be stuffed into it. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Humph, why not? Isn't it just ancient times? In the future, when we reach the immortal world, not only ancient times, but all kinds of strong people will appear in front of us. Looking at Lin Rei's appearance, how could the little dragon let go of this opportunity to despise Lin Rei? What's so great about it? Isn't it just living longer than me? Just you wait. In the future, my accomplishments will have already reached the pinnacle of the Tao, surpassing everything that can be surpassed. A powerful aura emanated from Lin Rei's body. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart towards cultivation became even more resolute. Alright, now that we know what he is, there's no need to fear him. As he spoke, Lin Rei's tense facial muscles relaxed. Although he appeared to be relaxed, his mental state was much more tense than before. The little dragon's voice disappeared, and Lin Rei returned to the present world. With a smile on his face, he asked the mountain in front of him, okay, you can do it. However, I am very curious as to who sealed you here, the dignified ancient vicious beast pai xiu. Boom! The moment Lin Rei finished speaking, a burst of energy suddenly appeared in the surroundings, sealing the area, including Lin Rei. Hee boy, it seems that I have underestimated you. I didn't expect that in such a small place, would actually be able to see your existence. This is strange. After Lin Rei heard the loud noise, he turned his head and looked at the layer of energy barrier. He didn't panic, but instead calmly looked at the stone and listened to his words. Boy, I advise you not to waste your energy. This layer of energy barrier was sealed by my own soul force. Moreover, you have never seen this kind of sealing technique before, so obediently listen to my conditions. Listening to the words of the pai xiu, Lin Rei was not far away, watching all of this with a smile on his face. I know that with your current strength, it is still very difficult for you to get me out. However, I believe that with your potential, it won't be long before you can get me out. In return, I can pass on the inheritance of the sealing technique. When you get me out, I will not hide anything. What do you think? Finally, after the pai xiu finished talking about the conditions, Lin Rei let out a sigh. With a smile still on his face, he asked, okay, but why should I save you? Because of your mouth? Or is it your identity? At this moment, Lin Rei's face revealed a funny expression. He continued to speak to the pai xiu. I think you are thinking too much. Pai xiu. You are too funny. So what if you are a pai xiu? I have a true dragon, so why should I be afraid of a pai xiu like you? As he spoke, Linley mentally connected with the little golden dragon, Long Ao, who had been training this entire time within the Cloud Pagoda and had an agreement with Linley. Aoo. Aoo. A burst of dragon roar resounded. The moment Lin Rei finished speaking, a golden dragon appeared above Lin Rei's head. The 100 zhang long body of the true dragon was intimidating and domineering. Brother Lei, why are you looking for me? Why do you have to call me out? I am in the middle of a breakthrough. At this moment, Long Ao came out and spoke in a northeastern dialect. Although Lin Rei could not see his expression, Lin Rei could hear that he was very unhappy. How is this possible? At this moment, the Pai Xiao who was sealed in the mountain was stunned by Long Ao's words. He could not help but speak with a surprised tone. Well, Long Ao, you go back first. I called you out just to use your body to intimidate an ignorant and arrogant ferocious beast. Linley didn't respond to Pai Xiao's words at all. Instead, he turned around and said something to Long Ao, the little golden dragon. Then, he wrapped Long Ao with his divine sense and put him into the Cloud Pagoda. At this moment, the area where Lin Rei was located was calm, but the atmosphere was a bit strange. Well, Pixiu, tell me now, how did you get trapped here? At this moment, Lin Rei said to the Pai Xiao in the stone very proudly. At this moment, his tone became like the little dragon's. Humph. In ancient times, our clan's sealing technique was the best, so it was coveted by the 100 clans. Therefore, the 100 clans shamelessly besieged my Pixiu clan. In the end, we were outnumbered and our clansmen were massacred. As for me, I escaped with heavy injuries, but in the end, I still couldn't escape. I don't know who sealed me here. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the Pai Xiao was very reluctant to speak. However, due to Lin Rei's freedom and all the strong people around him, in the end, even if the Pai Xiao did not want to compromise, it had no choice. Oh. So that's how it is. After listening to the Pai Xiao's experience, he sneered in his heart. Lin Rei would not easily believe him based on his words. Of course, unless that person was a fool. Obviously, Lin Rei did not belong to that kind of person. Alright, I can save you, but not now. Although I don't know who sealed you here, this kind of seal is too difficult for me to break with my current strength. However, soon, I will release your freedom. Of course, there are conditions for releasing you. When the Pai Xiao talked about his experience, Lin Rei's little abacus in his heart had already begun to fluctuate. It was for this moment. What conditions? As long as they are not particularly excessive, I will agree to them. At this moment, the Pai Xiao's language was full of helplessness, and he said the words that went against his heart. It's very simple. My condition is that the moment I release you, you must pledge allegiance to me for 1,000 years. Of course, after releasing you, I will provide you with medicinal pills and anything that can restore your cultivation and soul power. In one sentence, Lin Rei's words were like a sharp knife directly inserted into the Pai Xiao's heart. This. When an ancient beast heard that he wanted to pledge allegiance to others, it was inevitable that there would be some resistance. Lin Rei could understand this point. Okay. Since you don't want to, then forget it. Anyway, I don't lack people like you around me. Lin Rei, who was in the United States for a few minutes, pretended to leave. He turned around and pretended to walk outside. Wait, I say, you can't be so shameless. Give me some time to think about it. Aren't you forcing me like this? The Pai Xiao, who was originally in a dilemma, was anxious after seeing Lin Rei's actions. He quickly stopped Lin Rei and complained to Lin Rei. Oh, yes, you can understand it this way. I went down to the bottom of the sea for no reason and wasted a lot of time. Have you calculated how much time I wasted? So, now, immediately, tell me your choice. If I'm satisfied, I'll choose to cultivate faster. However, you might be able to release your cultivation base. Oh, right. Similarly, when someone said it, it was indeed effective. As soon as Lin Rei finished speaking, the Pai Shou followed Lin Rei's voice and spoke. I pledge allegiance. As long as you release me, slowly from that day, I will be at your disposal for 1,000 years. When he said this, Lin Rei's heart was already blooming with joy, but his face had been trained by Lin Rei to the point of perfection. Although he was happy in his heart, he did not show it on his face at all. Well, then swear to Hong Meng. In this way, I can really trust you. There was a sentence that directly angered the Pai Shou. F***ck, are you done? I have already said that I pledge allegiance to you. You are doing this to show that you don't believe me. N. Yes, I just don't believe you, so swear. Of course, unless you want to spend the rest of your life here. I believe that in this state, you may be able to live for 1,000 years or 10,000 years, but from then on, you will disappear from this world forever. As for the revenge of your clan, I think it will disappear with your death. At this time, Lin Rei did not speak to the Pai Shou, but after saying a few words, he walked outside. I swear by the ancestors of the Pai Shou, what's your name? I am Lin Rei. Suddenly, Lin Rei, who was walking not far away, heard the question of the Pai Shou. He stopped and said his name with a smile. I swear by the ancestors of the Pai Shou, from the moment Lin Rei takes me out, I will pledge allegiance to him. From then on, I will be at his disposal for 1,000 years. If there is a violation, I will be tortured by the Hongmeng Divine Thunder and will never be able to transcend. Is this okay? At the moment when he finished swearing, the Pai Shou gritted his teeth and said to Lin Rei. His tone was full of complaints. Chapter 2:16. Haha. Hearing the resentment in the Pai Shou's words, Lin Rei was not stupid. He frowned and smiled without saying anything. He stayed like this for a few minutes. Okay, kid, you can go out. You have to practice quickly in the future. I'm still waiting for you to release me. After a long silence, when the atmosphere was slightly awkward, the Pai Shou couldn't help but directly tell Lin Rei. Oh. Well, I will go back and practice hard. Besides, not for you, but for myself, for the peak of the Tao, I will work hard to practice until I reach the top. Right now, Lin Li was speaking very seriously. Even if some of what he had said earlier was false, these words were absolutely true. The peak of the Tao had already become his goal, his dream, and something he would strive for in the future. Ha ha ha. Deafening laughter. When Lin Rei finished speaking, the Pai Shou couldn't help but laugh. Kid, you're not joking, right? The peak of the Tao, do you think you're stronger than that old man Hong Jun, or more courageous than Pangu? They didn't dare to set foot on the peak of the Tao, just you. At this time, when listening to the Pai Shou's words, Lin Rei's face was obviously unhappy. Lin Rei could hear that the Pai Shou was really disdainful of his goal. It could even be said that the Pai Shou didn't believe that Lin Rei could do it. Pai Shou, in this world, no one is better than anyone else. It only depends on whether you want to do it or not. They can't do it, but it doesn't mean that I can't. Do you know what the world is like now? The next moment, all the unhappy aura was expressed by Lin Rei in words. His tone was overbearing and no one could compare. How can I? You don't know anything, so don't preach to me here. Since you don't believe me, how about we make another bet? Just after the Pai Shou heard Lin Rei's verbal attack, it wanted to refute, but it was refuted by Lin Rei's words. Oh. Bet? Okay. Since you want to bet, then tell me what you want to bet and what you want to use as the chips. Hearing this, Pai Shou became interested. It was hard to say that it was gambling. He had nothing now. Was he afraid of this meaningless gamble? His casual tone caused a hint of a smile to appear on Lin Li's face. Alright, then let's make a bet. In the next 300 years, I can reach a level that you can't imagine. Of course, you can choose not to bet, but what about the stakes? It is the freedom to set you free forever. What do you think of this bet? Really? A scream came out of the Pai Shio's mouth. Obviously, after hearing Lin Rei's bet, the Pai Shio could not hold back the throbbing in its heart. Heh, that's right. Just as you've heard, as long as I haven't reached that level, I'll nullify all the previous agreements and release you. However, at that time, the originally throbbing Pai Shio instantly calmed down, but Lin Rei could still hear the faint breathing sound. But if I complete it, you will unconditionally join my sect and become my subordinate disciple. You tell me, do you want to bet or not? All the stakes were said, and all the previous emotions of the Pai Shio were put away, and it was silent. The world passed quietly in the silence of the two people. However, the emotions of the two people were completely different. Lin Rei's mood was very calm, but the Pai Shio's heart was very tangled. He wanted to agree, but he was afraid that Lin Rei could break through. Just as Lin Rei said, in this world, he had been gradually eliminated, so he was not sure whether this matter was possible. The area where Lin Rei was located was quiet before, but the loss above 10,000 meters had been heated up. The special departments of various countries, after waiting for a long time, still did not see the appearance of the treasure. In the end, they decided to send people to the sea to investigate. Plop, plop, plop sounds came from the sea. In an instant, 2/3 of the people on the shore had all gone into the sea. As soon as they entered the sea, everyone swam crazily to the bottom of the sea like wild horses out of control. However, 1/3 of the people left on the shore were not so obedient. At this moment, all the people on the shore were astute and experienced. Foreign thieves, hurry up and leave. It is impossible to find anything in front of us Wuxia cultivators. No matter how hard you work, it will be in vain. At this moment, on the cliff of an isolated island, Murong Chen roared at the foreign masters on another island. His tone was deep, and there was some spiritual power in it. Ha ha ha. Murong Chen, let's not talk about other things. Let's look at the final result. Anyway, there is still a long time. If you want to fight, how can it be done in one day? There will be plenty of time in the future. At this moment, on another island, a foreign man with blue eyes, yellow hair, and very white skin retorted directly after hearing Murong Chen's words. However, this sentence made Murong Chen feel as if he had hit a balloon. Ha ha ha. Murong Chen, I didn't expect you to have such a day. After the two of them finished talking, Long Batian, who had been standing beside Murong Chen, suddenly mocked Murong Chen. Humph, old man, don't make a fool of yourself here. Now is not the time to fool around. All the countries already know about this matter, so the only thing we can do now is to protect everything here, whether it is a treasure or not. Even if we have to risk our lives, we must keep it in Wuxia. This sentence had already reflected Murong Chen's heart. At this moment, Murong Chen's heart had already been prepared to die when he came here. Alas. I know. Even if you don't say it, I know. I'm just afraid that you'll feel awkward, so I'm doing this. After saying that, the two of them looked at each other and chose to remain silent. Everyone quieted down and stared at the surface of the sea, not daring to blink for even a moment. It was as if they were afraid that something would slip away if they blinked. The treasure they were talking about was now negotiating with the Pishio at the bottom of the sea. It had reached the final critical moment. At this moment, the bottom of the sea was pitch black. Except for the faint light on Lin Rei's body, there was no light at all. Finally, at this moment, the silent atmosphere was broken by the Pishio trapped in the mountain. Okay. You're good, boy. I agree to this bet. As long as you can satisfy me, I will unconditionally become your subordinate. Finally, at noon, at this moment, Lin Rei's heart finally returned to its previous state. Good, I'm very satisfied with this answer. Since the matter has been settled, then I will leave. When I come back again, it will be the day you break out of the stone. After saying this, Lin Rei turned and walked in the direction he came from. He didn't say a word and left without any hesitation. Chapter 217. Boy, I hope you won't let me wait too long. With my current body, not to mention 10,000 years, even 1,000 years would be difficult. Alas. At the last moment, I made a crazy decision. Is it because I want to go out too much? After Lin Rei left, not long after, Pai Xiu sighed deeply and said to himself in a tone full of self-deprecation. Maybe he can really get me out. Just by the fact that he has the dragon aristocracy, it can be judged. Pai Xiu's voice disappeared. After finishing his words, he chose to sleep and wait for Lin Rei's return. Because only in this way could he spend more time, and only in this way could the wear and tear of his soul be slower. Tens of thousands of meters under the sea returned to calm and returned to the same dark, gloomy, and dangerous appearance. And Lin Rei, who had left, went back the way he came, but he was at the bottom of the sea. How could he have a real direction? So, after walking for a while, Lin Rei swam upward. Releasing all of his divine sense, all of the places within 100 miles appeared in Lin Rei's mind. Only in this way, Lin Rei could find them. Lin Rei's speed was very fast, and it didn't take long for him to rise 1,000 meters. At this time, at noon, a familiar figure appeared in his divine sense. Bing, after hearing my voice, tell them that they don't need to look for me, all of them go ashore. In the shortest time possible, I hope you can return to the shore, because there are still many things waiting for you to do. Looking at Bing's figure, Lin Rei's eyes were full of shame, but in order to leave this place quickly, Lin Rei did not immediately look for her, but told the others. Young master. Lin Rei's voice was something that Bing would never forget in her life, but in the deep sea, there were countless dangerous existences, so Bing had to be careful. Hearing Lin Rei's voice, Bing asked carefully, "Are you the young master?" According to what I said just now, inform all the disciples, and remember, during this process, ensure your own safety. Hearing Bing's sound transmission, Lin Rei smiled helplessly, and then repeated his previous words. Yes, your subordinate obeys. At this moment, Bing's face was full of happiness because he hadn't heard Lin Rei say that for a long time. Alright, you go first. I'll go up first. Remember to get them ashore as soon as possible. Whoosh. After he finished speaking, Lin Rei didn't stay any longer. He retracted his spiritual sense and released his cultivation to swim towards the shore. His journey was unimpeded. Since he was at the mid-transcending tribulation stage, it was very difficult for anyone to threaten him in the sea. Even if there were some cultivators, after sensing Lin Rei's aura, they would immediately disappear. As for Bing, following Lin Rei's instructions, he quickly went to inform Dian Wei, who was not too far away from him. Then, he informed the leaders of the various tribes one by one, who then informed their subordinates. Soon, thousands of people all swam towards the sea at Lin Rei's command. The scene was very spectacular. There were thousands of people, and each of them had a faint glow on their bodies. In the sea, although it was only the light of a grain of rice, it was the warmest color. Lin Rei, who took the lead, had already floated up 10,000 meters. At this moment, Lin Rei showed a rare smile. Lin Rei, since you have accepted the Pishio's bet, the system will also issue a task. I don't know if you will accept it or not. Suddenly, the little dragon's voice came into his ears. For a moment, the smile on his face disappeared. Damn it, don't tell me that I will be killed by the system if I don't accept it. When he heard the little dragon's next sentence, Lin Rei really wanted to smash his own mouth. Heh, Lin Rei, I didn't expect that you would become so smart after being with me for so long. Yes, you are right. If you don't accept it, the system has the right to kill you directly. What he said came true. Everything he did not want appeared at this moment. Sigh. When will I be able to choose my own task without being killed by the system? Lin Rei, who was full of helplessness, finally agreed to the little dragon's task. He had no choice but to accept it. Is this the right way? A cute laugh was heard. However, in Lin Rei's ears, this was indeed very shameless. Alright, since you have agreed, you should complete it well. If you do your best, the reward for the task will be even better. Ding dong, main task. In 500 years, the host must upgrade from his current level to the Immortal Emperor realm. If he cannot complete it, the system can only kill him automatically. However, if the host completes it early, the system will give the host an additional reward. Ding dong, main task reward, Alchemy Realm upgrade by 1 level, Martial Emperor Godly Spear upgrade by 1 level, Tyrant Body Technique, Supreme Level Cultivation Technique, Heaven and Earth Taoist Robe, Purple Cloud Pill. Ding dong, secondary task, when the host breaks through to the Immortal Emperor realm, he must take out the Pishio and use it for himself. Of course, if the host cannot complete it on time, the system does not need to say more about the consequences. Ding dong, secondary task reward, 10,000 years stalactite milk, Wind Dragon Crown, Top Immortal Chi Magic Treasure. The system's voice disappeared. Suddenly, Lin Rei's heart was filled with joy and hatred. He was happy that he could get so many good things, but he hated that it would take 500 years. It was not 5,000 years. If he wanted to cultivate to the Immortal Emperor realm, he would have to go through all the forbidden areas and secret realms as soon as he arrived in the Immortal realm. Only then would he be able to cultivate to the level that the system wanted. At this moment, Lin Rei wanted to die. He originally wanted to stay here for a little longer, but time was running out and he could not stay any longer. Sigh. Forget it. Anyway, after cultivating, there is still a long time. After I save my mother, I will leave this place. Having made up his mind, Lin Li increased his power and swam towards the surface of the sea. However, right at this moment, a ripple suddenly appeared in front of him. Without hesitating at all, Lin Li immediately released his divine sense, sending it out in a radius of 100 kilometers. Swoosh! 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 Sounds rang out in Lin Li's ears and in his mind. This scene caused Lin Li to frown. What's going on? Why did so many cultivators suddenly appear? At this moment, Lin Rei sensed that hundreds of cultivators were looking for something in the water. However, everyone was full of vigilance. Moreover, Lin Rei also found that among the hundreds of cultivators, there were compatriots and foreigners. No, now is not the time to expose myself. It's better to use other people's appearance to see them. After saying that, a wave of spiritual energy appeared on Lin Rei's face. At this moment, Lin Rei's face suddenly changed. His muscles began to change. After a while, an unfamiliar and ugly face appeared. At this moment, who could recognize that this person was the Generation Sect leader, Lin Rei? Whoosh! Lin Rei moved forward at full speed. Soon, he was close to the group of people. He cast an invisibility spell on himself and then passed by the group of people. What's going on? Why do I feel like someone just passed by me? At this time, one of the people that Lin Rei passed by turned around and looked in the direction where Lin Rei left and asked his companion in confusion. F***CK, are you stupid? There's no one here. At this moment, the middle-aged man heard his companion's words and hurriedly looked around. In the end, there was no one. Impossible, just now I clearly. Okay, don't say any more, hurry up and look. I don't want to stay here forever. Hearing his companion's explanation, the middle-aged man showed an impatient expression and interrupted him. Then, after saying that, he swam towards the depths of the water. Impossible. I clearly felt it. After saying doubtfully, he followed his companion and swam towards the depths of the water. However, after leaving, the middle-aged man's gaze fell on the place where he felt something strange just now. He glanced at it and then turned around and left. Hee, I didn't expect that nascent soul stage cultivator to be so vigilant. At this moment, when the middle-aged man left, Lin Rei, who was originally leaving, appeared in the same place as the middle-aged man. He looked at the middle-aged man with a playful expression and said, "Heh, I hope we'll meet again if fate wills it." Without thinking much, Lin Rei swam towards the surface of the water. This time, Lin Rei did not use any invisibility spell. Instead, he appeared in front of everyone's eyes and swam towards the surface. Time passed quietly. Lin Rei saw the color of the sky and suddenly a smile appeared on his face. Finally, I can ask about the air. Damn, I don't know how many days I've been in the water. It's been so suffocating. When I get back, I must eat a big meal. Finally, Lin Rei floated to the surface of the water. The fresh air made Lin Rei feel a little nostalgic. Of course, the most important thing was to eat. Quick, look, someone is coming out. Block that person for me. Just as Linley was thinking that he could finally relax, a loud voice suddenly rang out, causing Linley to be stunned. Just as Linley appeared on the surface of the water, a man standing on an island with extremely sharp eyes suddenly noticed Linley's sudden appearance on the surface of the water. He immediately called out to Linley. Suddenly, the man's voice attracted the attention of the remaining one-third of the strong people present. They all looked at Lin Rei, who was only showing his head. Damn, Wuxia man, hurry up, Long Batian, save that kid quickly. We can't let others take him. Murong Chen, who had been observing Lin Rei, shouted to his old friend Long Batian next to him. Then, he released his cultivation and rushed out like a stream of light. At this moment, everyone moved. They were waiting for Lin Rei to surface. Everyone thought that Lin Rei had the treasure that they wanted to get. At this moment, everyone became greedy, selfish, and beasts. The glory of their ancestors and the glory of their country became so fragile at this moment. Chapter 218. F***CK, what's going on? I don't think I've seen them before. I haven't even offended them. Lin Rei, who had sensed all this, had already seen their actions. However, the greed in their eyes made Lin Rei wonder why they were grabbing him like this. Of course, Lin Rei didn't know that it was all because of himself. Because of the killing intent at that time, he completed the 1,000-meter vortex. If Lin Rei knew about it, he would be speechless. Humph, boy, give me the treasure you got from the sea. In that case, maybe I'll give you a chance to live. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. At this moment, an old man who moved first came in front of Lin Rei and threatened Lin Rei with a murderous look. At this time, he had been blinded by benefits and greed, so he didn't feel Lin Rei's aura at all. Ha! Impolite to me? Are you sure you want to be impolite to me? Hearing the old man's words, Lin Rei was suddenly interested and started to chat with the old man. Hurry up, don't talk nonsense. Hand over the treasure and I'll definitely guarantee your safety. Humph, get lost. How dare you threaten the people of Wuxia in my territory? Do you really think the cultivators of Wuxia are dead? Just as Lin Rei was about to speak, Murong Chen and Long Batian came forward and argued with the old man who threatened Lin Rei. Lin Rei could feel that the cultivation of the two old men who spoke was not simple. They had both reached the combination realm. In this space where spiritual power was extremely scarce, it was not easy to cultivate to this realm. Boy, don't be afraid. With my brother, Murong Chen, protecting you, no one here can hurt you. With that, Murong Chen and Long Batian walked in front of Lin Rei and blocked the foreign old man. In terms of momentum, Murong Chen and Long Batian were enough to crush the old man. Hee hee. Ha ha ha, good, Murong Chen, Long Batian, you dare to go against my wolf clan? Have you forgotten what happened back then and want to reenact it? At this moment, the foreign elder seemed to have been enraged. Suddenly, his eyes turned blood red, and he looked extremely demonic. The teeth in his mouth turned into wolf fangs as well. If it weren't for the fact that he looked like a human, Linley would have thought that he was a demonic wolf. Damn, I didn't expect there to be such a thing here. It seems like the days ahead will be more and more interesting. At this moment, Lin Ray's interest was piqued. He wanted to see just how many races there were here. Humph. Why wouldn't I dare? Come at me if you have the guts. I don't believe that a mere conjoint body realm demon wolf can defeat the two of us. Murong Chen said it casually, but if one looked closely, they could see that Murong Chen's face was covered in cold sweat, and there was an obvious trace of fear on his face. With that, a magic weapon appeared in his hand in an instant. His face was full of fighting spirit as he looked at the old man who had turned into a demon wolf. Ha! Murong Chen and Long Batian shouted at the same time and rushed toward the old man who had turned into a demon wolf. Their momentum was magnificent and they looked like they were going to kill him. Dong dong dong, the sound of weapons colliding was heard. In the eyes of others, this was a world war, but in Lin Ray's eyes, this was just a child's play. There was no power at all. Bang! Bang! Two sounds of collision rang out. Two figures suddenly appeared before Linley's eyes. Plop, plop, Murong Chen and Long Batian fell directly into the water, and the old man who had turned into a demon wolf had returned to his original appearance. However, at this time, he was in a sorry state and completely lost his previous high-spirited appearance. His clothes were tattered and his hair was messy like weeds. He looked like a beggar and was extremely pitiful. Humph, losers. You have already given us the wolf clan back then, and now you are shamelessly against us. If it weren't for the fact that you are all from the 5 major families of Wuxia, I would have killed you long ago. The old man who was now in the air stared at Long Batian and Murong Chen who had fallen into the water, and his eyes were full of contempt. F***ck, no way. You said before that you would protect me. What's going on now? In fact, Lin Ray already knew that these two old men were no match for the old man who had turned into a demon wolf, so Lin Ray didn't think highly of them at all. However, Linley was very interested in the old man who had transformed into a wolf demon. Linley wanted to see if the old man's body was different from that of a normal human. To be able to transform into a wolf and a human at the same time was an incredible feat. Boy, now we should talk. Tell me, what on earth did you get in the sea? The old man didn't even bother to look at Murong Chen and Long Batian. He directly turned his eyes to Lin Ray and asked with narrowed eyes. Ha! I really want to know where you get your courage from. You are just at the combination realm. Don't you just have a special constitution? Is this what you are so proud of? At this moment, Lin Ray didn't want to hide himself. Time was tight and the task was important. He didn't want to waste time here, but he didn't release his cultivation. He just said to the old man with a cold face. What's going on? These sudden words caused the old man to take a step back in fright. The old man himself didn't know what was going on. Just then, when he heard Linley's words, he felt an inexplicable sense of danger. This was the first time in his life that he had ever felt so uneasy. What's going on? It wasn't just the werewolf old man himself. Even the two old men who fell into the water behind him and the surrounding cultivators who dared to come had a strange look in their eyes. That was because they saw that the old man, who was fighting 1 against 2, actually took a step back in fright when he heard the words of a junior. This made them take it seriously. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for bullying you. When the old man saw that his words didn't scare the young man in front of him and instead made him take a step back, his patience was exhausted at this moment. Anger surged up in him. Ha! A little ant dares to compete with the sun and moon. How dare you? Seeing the old man's actions, Lin Ray was also angry. He had always been accompanying his master to eat tigers, but now, Lin Ray had had enough. Using his spiritual energy, his body slowly floated up until it reached a certain height. Only then did Linley's body stop. At this moment, the werewolf old man saw this scene and froze in the air. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The old man looked at the young man in the air. You. At this moment, the werewolf old man's voice trembled as he stuttered while pointing at Lin Ray. Humph, come here. Without wasting any words, Lin Ray's eyes flashed with disdain when he saw the old man looking at him. He raised his right hand to his chest and circulated his spirit energy. A suction force appeared and suddenly, the old man's body flew uncontrollably toward Lin Ray's hand. With a whoosh, the old man's speed was very fast. In one moment, the old man was still in the same place, but in the next moment, he was in Lin Ray's hand. Ha! A little cultivator wants to kill me, and you even dare to call yourself Lord in front of me. Do you think your little werewolf clan can overturn the heavens? At this moment, Lin Ray's one hand was choking the old man from the werewolf clan. His tone was full of disdain. Moreover, in Lin Ray's eyes, the werewolf clan was just a mutated race. As long as he was obedient, it would be fine. If he was not obedient, Lin Ray would not mind paying a visit to the werewolf clan. Cough. I'm sorry, Senior. This old man. Oh no, this junior did not know Senior's cultivation. As the saying goes, where it is possible to forgive, one should forgive. Senior, please let me go. The old man who was choked by Lin Ray wanted to cry at this moment. How could he have known that such a young man would have such a powerful cultivation? Not only the old man from the werewolf clan, but even Murong Chen and the other two who were in the water were stunned. The scene in front of them happened so fast that they could not wrap their heads around it. Damn, I'm going to eat a tiger with you. The old man's aura, he must be a senior who is going through the heavenly tribulation. At this moment, Murong Chen who was in the water looked at the scene in horror. He gauged Lin Ray's cultivation and said in surprise. I didn't expect that such a young man would have such a powerful cultivation. I'm really ashamed. His words had hit the nail on the head. Everyone present was thinking the same thing. However, they did not dare to say a word. They did not even dare to send a telepathic message. They could only watch the scene quietly. Now you know you're wrong. Don't you think it's too late? I want to know now why all of you are here and why are you blocking me? At this moment, Lin Ray, who was the main character of the scene, asked all the questions in his heart. Cough, Senior, this is my fault. I didn't understand what was going on and said those words to you. I said, why are you blocking me? If you continue to dilly-dally and cover things up, I'll feed you to the sharks. Hearing the old man from the wolf tribe dilly-dally, Lin Ray could not help but threaten him with a murderous look on his face. Everyone present felt it. The wolf tribe who was closest to Lin Ray felt it clearly. Yes, I'll tell you now. This is what happened. A few days ago, a 1,000-meter whirlpool suddenly appeared here. After it was observed by the satellites in space, it was transmitted to the special departments of various countries. So, we came here. We all thought that there was a treasure here, so when we saw you coming out of the sea, we thought. At this point, the old man from the wolf tribe did not continue. That was because he saw Lin Ray's cold gaze. So, he was afraid. Ha. Treasure? At this moment, Linley chuckled. When he heard the old man wolf mention the 1,000-meter whirlpool, Linley realized that wasn't that the whirlpool he had created during his battle with the WYRM earlier on? You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.